And run it, run it.
Perfect. Recording in progress.
There we
Ronnie,
go.
leave. Oh, sure. I was gonna say, leave your camera the way it was. We didn't have to look at your ugly mug.
There you go.
Oh, no.
Oh, y'all
Fair
really
enough.
somebody welcome.
We started
Feeling
early.
love there, Ronnie.
There we go. I'm trying something new this week. I went back to my iPad, but I went to the doctor this week, and I'm starting to reuse my hearing aids again. So it's coming off the iPad straight into my hearing aids, and I don't have to do everything else, you know. So let's see, huh? There I am.
Yeah, if we get lucky, you'll quit shaking it because I was getting seasick.
There you go.
Hey, Cat,
Everyone's
just to
doing
check,
okay?
Can you guys hear me?
I got you. I got you, bud. I see Cade's in there also.
That's you real good, Dean, and our volume's perfect.
Good. deal.
Eddie,
Oh,
you mean Big Daddy?
Big Daddy's there.
There you go.
I don't know if our
Hey,
youngest
Eddie.
member's
Hey,
with him.
Ronnie.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hello,
Good
Daddy.
evening.
Big Daddy
Hey, Kate.
himself.
Good evening, afternoon.
How's the baby?
He's doing good. He's over 9 pounds now, so he's gaining weight and eating like a champ. So, oh, here he's gonna make an appearance here.
There he is.
Somebody clap on cap
There
on.
he is. We had family photos the other day,
Oh,
but
wow.
I wasn't allowed to bring a.
Rose up, Cade.
We lost you.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be back.
Hey, he's already in another country from us.
Hi, everyone.
All right, you're back with us.
Oh, it froze. Yeah, we had family photos, baby photos
go.
the other day with a friend who's a photographer, but unfortunately I wasn't allowed to bring a lathe chisel. So maybe next photo shoot I can.
We might need to get a small one made for you. A starter skew.
There we go.
Yeah, a little mini starter skew. How's everyone else doing?
Oh, I
Good.
think all right.
That's good.
I see old Donald's here from Australia.
Hey, Donald.
Hey, Donald.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Ronnie.
And
Hello,
our
Donald. How you
senior,
doing?
our senior
They
member,
don't-
Mr. John's here.
Donald, they don't realize that the greeting is really good day.
Goodbye.
Good day. Good day. Not good day. Good day.
Good day.
Good day to you.
I spent a month down. I spent a month in there, beautiful month, but I couldn't understand a thing they said.
I'd
And
love
Miss
to make it
Brenda's
there.
with us.
There's Brenda.
What's the weather like, Donald, in your winter this time of year?
Cold, but not as cold as you get. In the morning's about 3 or 4 degrees and getting up to 10. That's Celsius.
Oh, okay.
Donald,
That's
Donald,
not
do
bad.
they have you on a COVID lockdown?
That's pretty nice.
No,
Donald,
escaped the lock Tuesday night.
Donald, in your area, are you in a lockdown for COVID?
We were, but got let out on Tuesday night.
Okay.
You got out on good behavior, eh?
I'm not going to editorialize, but a whole lot of America got stupid. It's back. I just read where the controls are going to be back on as bad as they were or as tight as they were in March and April. So,
Well, our controls are nowhere near what Australia does. Australia does a total lockdown. You're not allowed to leave your house. They just shut everything down
Mhm.
for
UK
weeks at a
pretty
time.
strict too.
And
Essentials.
we just told them you couldn't go to a movie theater and almost had a riot.
Oh, oh, they won't let them do anything but go get food. You know, they lock everything down. Borders and everything are locked down.
Wow.
If you care for your people, you'll take care of them. That's it. But I gotta stop. No politics. No politics.
Yeah, I think everything's a balance. You know, you should have a balance with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and politics should have never been involved in all that COVID stuff, but it did. It was.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just to take advantage of situations.
I hope that doesn't affect SWAT or some of the people trying to get across the borders, but it might.
Oh, true.
Somebody, Joanne, said she had a hard time getting out of Canada, get to SWAT and to get her tickets confirmed and everything. So it is causing difficulties. Oh yeah, SWAT is 31 days away from today. I'd be packing my bags.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Same
not-
here, if I could.
That's not gonna happen this year. A lot of folks in tonight. We're gonna talk a little wood turning. Ronnie, I have something special for you tonight. I gotta get up on the screen here because
What you got there, Edward?
well, I have to go to OBS and change over. Just because you keep asking me to do something about this, how's this work for the Blair?
Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely perfect.
Oh, Doug's gonna be jealous.
Really? I mean, it's all
Look
fluffed
out
up.
Doug wrote.
Did you remember the bikini?
I got that little, coloring that didn't work out, but it's going to be a nice change. It's warm. It's a little chilly in here.
That woman from the movie The Terminator.
Or
Really?
The
Yeah,
question
airport
is,
scene,
Yeah, it does.
the question is, did you do that for ratings?
Probably not.
that's
Because I
great.
think we just went into the tank.
But you never know what you'll find there, really. Just having a little fun. There's so much out there. I mean, I wouldn't dare lie about some of these things. I mean, it's just not for me to tell a fib and have my nose grow up. Look at, I could be a politician in Louisiana or Washington.
You look like
That's
our
awesome.
safety man now.
Oh, no.
But the new
Old
filter.
Jimmy Durante.
Jimmy Durante. All right, who said that you aged yourself? You know who Jimmy Durante
Oh,
is.
God.
Oh, yeah.
And this one I can, it shows and everything else. See, this is a pretty good one.
It's becoming
what you-
you.
Great.
that's what I get for
Like
watching
Shrek.
Scott Fichter on YouTube. Scott's a very talented instructor and has a lot of wonderful things to share with folks. And I don't miss it any time because he's got things that, well, we're a new world with Zoom. We're a new world with virtuality and talking to folks. I mean, Ron and I were talking earlier tonight, and we're always chatting about something because it's just the way things will go. And he's on his iPad tonight. I'm going to pop over here and say, Ronnie and I would talk about the phone calls. I get phone calls every single day, not complaining. I love to talk to wood turners. They call me, we talk about all kinds of stuff. But I had one, and Ron and I talked about it earlier today, had one that said, how do I join? So I threw this to David, our master webmaster. Get that, master webmaster. I said, Dave, can we put something like this on the front page of our website? And that's about as simple as can be. You click here to join. It's gonna take you to a page that says you're a member. All you have to do is go to the website, click the button, and you're in.
Oh,
There's
wow.
no joining. And I'd like you to, once you get this or see this, to contact all your fellow wood turners in your area and let them know that we're here and you can be here. Each Wednesday evening we gather, we talk about everything. We just talk about politics. We've almost covered weather. We normally do that at 25 after the hour. We get a weather report. And I told Ronnie today, my report is it went from hot to damn hot. And I just got an alert just now that we're under a heat lockdown until midnight. Heat until midnight. But hey, I want you to share the word and get some more folks joined in here. We're gonna have a great
Martin.
demonstration tonight. Ronnie, we got a great
Martin's here.
demonstration coming up.
Martin's in the house.
Hey,
Martin
Martin.
Clark's in the UK.
Sorry, guys, I haven't been here for a couple of weeks. I've been away over into Hungary, and fortunately in Europe, they are an hour further on than I am. So, you guys, I love you loads, but I cannot stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning. But I'm back now.
Martin, did you say you were hungry?
I was over in Hungary, over in Europe. I'm over in Hungary.
We just
Over
kidding
in
you, that's
Hungary.
all, Martin.
All right.
Glad to have you back.
Good to see you all.
Absolutely.
How was hungry?
How was the
Tell
trip?
the,
Thank you.
tell the Queen hello.
I will.
Good.
You're all keeping well.
What are we trying?
Yep.
Keeping well is a major ordeal nowadays.
Yeah, it is.
But we're all here.
Dave, I haven't looked at the website on it, but is it clear that the time that we actually meet, or you just click on something? Because occasionally people are trying to log in in the middle of the week and stuff.
It should be clear. There's a box and it says the day and the date and the time, and it's automatically adjusting for whatever time zone they're in.
Okay, I'm just bringing it up because about once a week I get an email saying somebody's logged into the Worldwide Wood Turning meeting
Huh.
in the middle of the week.
It might be me.
No,
It
it
should be
gives me a
obvious.
name on it. It
Maybe
gives
I'll
me
make
a
it a little
name.
bigger.
Okay, I don't know. Just occasionally I keep getting an email once or twice a week, once a week or so, that somebody's trying to logged in.
They're
Probably lost
anxious.
track
They
of
don't
what
go
day it
anywhere,
was.
Yeah, excited.
It could be, but I'm just bringing it up. Occasionally I've been getting these emails saying that people tried to log in
Uh-huh.
on it. So
Hey,
Might
we
be
got
me.
a demanding off. Pardon?
On the countdown timer so that you know how many minutes when it starts.
Hmm.
I think I missed all of that. It was too garbled.
Sorry about that. But there's even a countdown timer
Yeah.
Right.
Need a countdown timer.
Till the meeting's gonna start.
There is one right there, right next to it.
Yep.
But people want what people want. And if they want to see a meeting, they may be confused about go to the meeting, click, and they are thinking it's all recorded. But it's not on that page. It's on another page. Because right now, we probably have, I'm not bragging, and I'm not being ridiculous. We probably have the finest wood turning website in the world. If not the world, we might not be Martin and the crew over there and anyone, because they're working really hard at it too. But we're working extremely hard at it. We got the master webmaster. And if you hadn't noticed this month, from last week, he clipped out all the little tidbits of information and put them in different categories or blocked them out. So if you want to talk ebonizing the staining, we got one. If you want to talk how to make this up, we got one. If you want to talk how to do this, we've got one. And that's happening every week. Dave breaks down the details and gives you everything that you're looking for. And that way it's easy to find. But we don't have everything there. And I'm sneaky that way. Everything's not there because maybe you, one of the members, hasn't turned in something to give us an idea, sent us a photograph. I did the newsletter. It went out this week. I went to Facebook on 2 different channels, and Dave's got it right now to post it on our website. We had 63 photographs come in last month. Just 63. Just 63. We're looking for more. We really are. The way we develop our art is by thinking. And if we can get it in here, then we'll come up with a way to make it work. I keep going back on this. Fellow a couple of weeks ago showed us a fishing reel, all wood, all made by a beginning turner with only about 4 months of experience. He made this fishing reel. I am totally blown away by what this turner did. Totally blown away from it. It is almost perfect. It may be perfect. I'm still waiting to get a better photograph because that will make the front page of our newsletter. That will, because that's what we're looking to do. And it's not to point out that one turner, it's to point out our art. And that's what we're looking for. So if you do something, you turn something, you have an idea, you made a jig to do something, we really want that, especially if it's a jig or a tool. You have no idea how crazy we all are about building your own jigs and tools. A guy today, I'm sorry, get my days mixed up. It was yesterday, said he bought a whole set of Harbor Freight tools and he was chunking them out the window because they were garbage. I said, go outside, go out the window and get them back. They're tool steel. If you got a grinder and a belt sander, you still got some tools in those things. They might not work for major work, but they will work for detail tools and for creating a scraper to do your mortise with, so your jaws on your chuck will open into a good receiving area. Well, you can take that old scraper, that any flat tool, the ones I can't figure out what to do with, you can shape it. It'll go right into that. So if anybody has got a gallery item tonight, pop it into chat, say I want to show something. Our gallery master is Dane, and he is in house tonight, and he's keeping an eye on things. Hey, Dane, did you see the Sarge got a door?
No, I didn't.
Wrong one.
Yeah, the wrong door, but he got a door.
But he has a door.
And an air conditioning. Air conditioning and a door.
Yeah, he's halfway home.
Right? Hey, Eddie, can you set me up as co-host? I had to log out earlier.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you did. Talk again. Never mind, I got you now.
Sure.
Okay. For those joining us tonight that not knowing this, but in Zoom, we can assign co-hosts. And there's no proprietary, no hierarchy or anything else. A co-host or members that have offered to take on some responsibilities and help with the meeting. We have members that help with people getting access. We have members that do regular details and workshops. We have members that take care of bringing a gallery in like Dane does. If you want to be part of that, here's the deal. Click the button and join. Can't get any simpler than that.
The pay is real good.
Yeah, pay's great. Did you get a double in your raise? I gave raises last week.
Yeah, I got a double. Didn't you?
No, the treasury's empty right now. Yeah.
Well, we got a couple items coming in for gallery, so
Hop them up.
go see Gary Hoffman. He's got some pins, I think.
Up there, Ronnie.
Gary.
Yeah, I've got a few. I made 10 for the group. I already sent them out, and then I made another 13. This one is
Pull
Thank
it
you,
right back
Dr.
in front of your face, sir, if you would.
Yeah, this one is zebra wood. And
I like that.
I've got a bunch of zebra wood that came up pretty nice. I figure how to get this thing over here.
Yeah, if you can
Back
get back,
towards you, we see it better.
it's got a pretty grain on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to come out too clear. Camera's kind of a cheapo, so, but I got 13 I just made. I've got the some curly maple,
Nice.
which is usually pretty nice. And I've got mango and of course, locote. I got another situation I ran into. If I can show you, it just takes 1 second.
All right. I see Kim Tippins in with us tonight 3 times. Boy, Kim really wants to be on the show.
I turned
You hit the button too
this
many
bowl,
times.
and of course I went a little too deep. So now I'm sitting with a beautiful piece of wood with a nice hole in the bottom. I do have some walnut, some pieces of walnut, and I'm just trying to figure out how to do this. I know on June 2nd, we had a meeting here, and it explained it, but I went to the site on YouTube, and I couldn't find it. Any information about this, I'd sure appreciate.
All right, we'll work on it for you. And Gary, you said the pen's to the sergeant?
Okay, I'm deaf, so I read lips, so it's kind of hard to understand.
Okay. Get back up. I wanted to. A little technical difficulty right now.
It's really difficult to. I understand when I'm watching you on the screen here because it's big enough.
Yeah.
But other
Okay,
than that, it's kind of difficult.
I wanted.
I asked you one. That's why I asked you one time if you're going to have any kind of captioning at all, and I've heard nothing else. So I don't know.
I think we can do that now. I have to check and see. But
Okay.
I think I got a thing. I think I received a communication that said I can do that.
Yeah.
So I will plan on it. I'm so busy. I'll get to it, sir.
I'd appreciate that.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So, Gary, I noticed you're in Arizona. What part of Arizona are you?
Gary, are you still with us?
You're gonna have to spotlight yourself, Dane, and then talk, because he
That
can't
looks good.
read
Eddie.
lips.
Looks good.
I have no idea what just now happened.
So, Gary, I see you're in Arizona. What part of Arizona are you in? Or I'll put it in the chat for you.
Okay.
He needs closed captioning in order to be
Yeah.
able to.
That's what I'm working. I just made a note, and because I believe I can do it. Oh, we had a guy last week in chat, and I thought it was in chat, that needed help setting up his video. And I went through the chat 2 or 3 times, and I've read all the lines in the chat. I don't have his name and number anymore. I can't find it. So if you're in the group tonight and you need to talk about how to set up your iPhone or your iPad or your computer in order to generate a program to go in chat or YouTube or Facebook or any of those other lines, I can help get you started. Because my favorite device to go out and shop now, the videotape, is my iPad. My favorite one, because I can see the darn thing clean across the room to know what it's taping. The phone I can't see. All right, anybody else up at gallery tonight? Let's move it. Let's go. Come on.
We sure do. Hold on. Let me bring up Terry.
Terry.
Start talking.
Yeah, I'm here.
Terry,
got
keep
me?
stay talking. Okay.
Yeah, you got me up there good. I got a few things I'd like to talk about. One, I was working on a bowl of a real ugly piece of mesquite, and this hit the wall really hard. Right after it hit, right there.
Whoa.
So wear your face shields.
I don't see
And
Jeff
there
in
was
a
no
party
harm
tonight.
done, and No harm done, and I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm the
Linda's
good-looking one with the good
Band-Aid
hair.
brigade. What'd you say, Eddie?
I didn't, that was a member. Go ahead. Somebody
So,
didn't know their
anyway.
audio was up.
You didn't get the audio with that?
No, somebody else didn't know their audio was on and they were having a conversation.
Sounded like Jeff.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's what I
And
thought.
so just go on, Terry.
Did it all come across? Anyway, I was out playing a couple months ago with a piece of Norfolk Island pine. And I was trying to get the top design out of it, coming around on a hollow form. And it presented a design opportunity for me. As I did it, and today I was out in the shop and I picked up the leftover piece and came up with one I was pretty happy with. That's the
That's
bottom
pretty.
of it. A little pedestal piece out of Norfolk Island pine.
Mm,
And,
that's very nice.
Yeah.
It came out
Looks
pretty
great.
nice for design opportunity, but that's not what I really wanted to show. A couple, 3 weeks ago, Record Power demonstration, Theo did a demonstration on a eccentric turn vase or a goblet. And I thought I would take a shot at it. Well, I
Wow,
took
you
several
hit it.
shots at it. Several of them wound up not working and I saved their pieces. And I wound up getting halfway decent with them. Some of them got little problems. And I managed to put one back together that I don't know which one it was, but I made 6 in total. And 4 of them are mesquite. They came out pretty good. This is a mess up. This is the first one that I messed up. The sequencing of how you turn these is very important. And I didn't have it figured out right. I had never done much eccentric turning, just a few Christmas trees and stuff. But this one didn't turn out right. I almost cut through the stem, but I managed to save it. And then I tried to understand what I did wrong by looking at it, and I went completely the wrong way. And the next one didn't come out at all. And I wound up having to put it together with 2 pieces. But anyway, I wound up with them. Then when Theo showed how to do these, he said, really try to use tight grain woods, that they would work really good. Well, I thought that's okay, but I got some wood that's not so tight grain. I had a piece of cottonwood. So I tried it with a cottonwood and I really was happy with the way it came out. It did work. I made the stems a little thicker to compensate for the not so tight fiber in the pieces, and I thought they came out pretty good, and I got them down. I think I know how to do them now.
Great.
And one more piece to show you. I didn't want to leave Ronnie out of the picture, so here we are, Ronnie. It's not very tall. It's about 3 inches tall, but it's 2x4.
We're gonna put you at the top of the list now.
All right, Terry's in the 2x4. He's leader of the pack.
Nice job.
So that's what I got, guys. Be safe and we'll see you again.
All right, Terry, thank you for participating tonight. Boy, we get to see some art this evening, aren't we? Fantastic work by woodturners. I mean, he saw that on a Facebook, a Zoom meeting, and there's one tomorrow morning in the United States. It's like 4:30 in the morning, which means a whole lot of us non-working people are going to miss it. But it's a good program. I want to see if
Eddie?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I got a question for everybody.
Everybody.
With that Record Power videos, we were supposed to have one last night, and it never did come on. Did everybody else experience the same thing?
Oh, there was a cancellation.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah,
get the
it got
email?
canceled. It got
Oh,
canceled.
okay. I didn't get the cancellation notice.
I didn't even try to get in too.
There was
Tomorrow-
an email like the day before that said it was just postponed.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow morning in the USA,
I
what's so
see
Central Time, 4:30 a.m. for the USA and Canada. Don't want to leave paid out. And they have the other times that'll be airing. And this is hosted by and put on by Record Power. And I'm going to give you I get an invite from Mike, MIKE D at recordpower.co.uk. And I'm going to try to see if I can throw this in the chat. Because there's no cost. Yeah, I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to send it out to everybody right now. Everyone in the meeting can see it. This is a really good opportunity to learn and share. Now it's in the chat right now. And you don't commit. If you don't like the emails, you can unsubscribe and get out of them. But it'll tell you every single demonstration. And many times there's more than one on that email. And they space them out and give you all the time zones, just like our website does, tell you how long it is before the next show and all. And so if you really want to get into this, I've really enjoyed some of the demonstrations. I've enjoyed all of them, not some, all of them. Anybody else up the gallery this evening? It's about quarter after the hour, half after the hour. I'm Captain Eddie Cassidy of worldwidewoodturners.org. That's our website, and that's where you found us. Our gallery master is Dane.
And John
Hey,
Brown,
Cade's got something he just made.
Yes, I want to see that. I want to see that.
Yeah, I've
Look
got
at
something, but
that
it isn't a
baby.
turning.
Oh,
I've got something, but it isn't a turning this week. It's a stand I made for my iPad, and it's adjustable. Let me see if I can get it on the camera here. There it is.
Oh,
You
nice.
see it'll move up and down like this. There's a bolt through it to hold it in there on the side. And here's how it's held on at the back. It's a clip that's made to go on over the back of it up here at the top and goes down and is fastened on here with a thumb bolt in the back to hold this clip down to hold it on. So it works pretty neat. You can set it up on a table or in front of you or wherever you want at the proper height.
Nice that it's adjustable because mine never points at the right place.
What's
We
that?
gotta get Ronnie one like that. So
Yeah, I was going to suggest that before. It was so shaky, I was getting
I was
seasick.
gonna ask Mr. John, go sit in your lounge chair. Can you put it on your lap, on your knees, and
Yep.
see yourself?
Yep, I'll try it.
There you go. No,
for you-
turn it around like you're using it.
That's brilliant.
There
You
you
see
go,
that?
Mr. John.
Now, Ronnie, your belly might get in the way.
I
I
might
had to
fall
lose
asleep
weight a
too.
long time ago. But you see what the back of it looks like there, and then it'll rock down like this. And you can set it on a table or whatever if you wanted to use it as a second camera on your Zoom. That's kind of what I made it for.
Yep,
It works
and that's
or not, I
perfect.
don't know. I'm having problems.
Yeah, that's great.
But it could qualify for the 2x4 club too, because that's basically what it's made out of, except the bottom. Well, the bottom piece was a 2x6 split in half.
Yeah, I think that's
That is, John.
What do you
You
think,
know, I
Eddie?
think all of these people are coming to the front in the 2x4 club.
Oh, yeah.
No kidding. I have an
Yeah.
idea how we can improve that too. We'll talk about it in a few minutes. But wait. We have, our young member was in the house. I can't find it now. I saw him in there a minute ago.
I got him.
You got him? There he is. That's not our youngest member. Our youngest member is probably sitting in his lap.
You're muted, Kate.
Hey, Oh,
Is he,
here-
is he there? Because Kim's all excited.
Yep,
Kim wants to see him.
there I am. Oh, I was just replying to Kim. But yes, here he is. Here's little baby Cash. He's 3.5 weeks old.
Putting on the weight, isn't he?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm sorry, my power went out and I was like, I'm gonna miss Kate's baby.
Oh, he's so precious. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I want him. You're giving me baby fever now.
No.
What, bro?
Uh-oh.
My husband's fixed. It ain't happening, but you know, we can only dream.
You can
Aw.
adopt.
Yeah, yes, we actually thought
Unbelievable.
about doing that. He is handsome. Oh,
Thanks.
Good
Yeah, we
looking
had
boy.
family baby photos
Beautiful.
yesterday. But
Oh, how cool.
unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to bring a wood turning chisel. Maybe next time.
you know, you should. When I did photography and I did newborns, and those big wooden bowls. I went to the Goodwills. This was before I turned and even knew how. But I always looked for big wooden bowls because wrapping those beautiful little babies up in there in those wooden bowls, those pictures just turned out amazing. So if you can get a nice or make a nice big wooden bowl and put them in it, especially when they get older, they can sit in them because I did that with my daughter. Oh, so cute.
Yeah. On that note, I actually did. This is a friend who's a photographer, a friend of my wife's, and she wanted a big wooden bowl. So I made her a 2-foot diameter bowl that was 5-inch deep, and then COVID hit, so she actually didn't have any babies to photograph in it. So my baby was the very first baby to be
Oh,
photographed in the bowl that I
that's
made
cool.
her as a photography prop. So, and
That
there'll be
is
a few
awesome.
more. But yeah, it was pretty cute.
Oh, that is so awesome. Thank you for sharing him with us or me.
Nope.
You'll have to post that picture of him in that bowl.
Yeah, I will.
Absolutely. I
Just
can't
waiting on
wait to see
getting-
those.
Oh, I
Just
think we
waiting
need
a
to.
couple weeks to get the gallery of our
Aw,
photos.
I just want to hold them and kiss all of them, right, Brenda? Like babies. There's something about babies and how they smell. They have a smell. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
Baby
My best
smell.
friend's daughter just had a baby too, so
Oh, you lucky.
get a hold of her.
Uh-huh. Soak it up. Oh,
And
pass on the
Fantastic. I mean, fantastic. We're
congratulations.
like a bunch
What
of
an
folks
amazing.
sitting on the tailgate of the truck talking about wood turning, but we get more than that done. I mean,
I
we've
wish we
seen
can really
some-
pass the baby around.
No,
Right.
we can't pass the baby around.
Pass the baby.
You just shake them up and hand them back to dad.
Yeah, when he starts wailing, we'll take him back. But yeah, they
That's
smell
the way
good
it
until
works.
They start pooping.
All right, we just now, we've seen some really great some pieces with 2x4. I mean, Mr. John's in there, a couple of the other members jumped in, did some stuff. Here's your chance. For Thanksgiving, we are going to do a bottle stopper challenge. That's right, a bottle stopper challenge. As what you send us is photos only. But there are no other rules on our challenge except it's got to be your work, and we want to see your what your art is. Now you can change. You can use any stopper base you want. The ones that stand up, the ones that go in the bottle, and this can be used for more than wine and whiskey. They use all. If it's in a bottle and it's fluid, the stoppers will work. But the bottoms, it won't matter. The tops, that's your choice. What do you want to use? Good wood. I can't say bad wood. Kim will come jumping on me. Good wood, 2x4, whatever. Want to see your art. It's a great chance to show off your art. And it's a good chance to share ideas about what you can do and what I can do. I've seen them and it just, wow. Look at what that thing, look how he did something simple and he turned it, he cored it, he put a finial on it, he cleaned it and he waxed it and it's gorgeous. And it's a bottle stopper. Think about that. It's a little bottle stopper and all that art when in that stopper. So that cranks up right now. It is from now through Thanksgiving. And the deal is this. You need to send us a photograph so we can have it and share it. And the other part is you have to give one away. You know, you go mooch a meal every year for Thanksgiving. Bring a bottle stopper, give it away. You know, leave it behind. I have never had a problem getting rid of them when I worked for a very large architectural firm. One year for Christmas, I did 89 stoppers with the plastic bottoms on them. 89, put them on every employee's desk for Christmas. It's just something I did for the firm. No payment, there was no trade or anything else. Boy, did I make a lot of people happy. I also found out how many AA members we had. Stoppers, simple gift, great to share. And if you're doing craft shows, they sell like hotcakes. I built a Ferris wheel one time that'll hold 3 or 4 stoppers across and maybe 12 points to where it'll move, because if they're moving, they're glinting. And talk about stop a crowd, they will. It's just, you got to keep an eye on them because they're so small. Gary Hoffman's with us. He's got a couple items to show on gallery, and Dane's handing on gallery tonight. Dane, do you have him up?
Yeah, I will bring Gary right back up here. I don't know, where is he?
I've got a few more, Dave.
Got to talk, Gary, and then we got you.
Gary. Go ahead, sir. Ooh.
Not too close.
Figure out how to show it.
Not too close, Gary.
Basket weaving.
That's nice. Boy, good color combos.
And then I've got this item right here, which is
we can't see
I'll
the
figure out
base.
how to do
the
this.
base.
We'll get it eventually.
Can you hold that back away from the camera,
Sorry, I
Gary?
don't mean to make you dizzy.
You can't hear you.
Yeah.
There you go.
This gentleman is deaf.
Yep.
Nice work.
That's Cocobolo. I can't use it anymore. The last time I did Cocobolo, I was covered from head to toe, totally covered, and I got 3rd-degree burns from it. So
whoa.
I can't use Cocobolo anymore.
Wow. Really nice work. If you folks want to comment, put your comments in the chat tonight, because Gary can't hear you, but he can read your lips and he can read the chat. So let's do it that way. Send it right to him. He's got some accolades coming. It's pretty work. I like that basket. I really do. All right, we're back to talking about wood turning. Later on this evening, we're going to have a demonstration. Dane, you set that up. Who we got?
We have Dean Grimes, and he's going to do some spindle turning, doing some boxes.
Okay, and that'll be coming up at what, after 7 o'clock?
I believe that sounds good.
All right, that'll work for us. Jeff Shell is in tonight. We're going to get a tidbit from him about safety. He sent me a photograph in my email, I believe, today, and I couldn't capture that photograph to give a lead up on his piece. Jeff, are you ready to do our safety minute?
Yeah, sure I am, guys. Yep.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
Oh, you, Jeff.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Okay, first things first thing, be safe. Always check the speed of the lathe before you're turning it on, especially if you walked away and you don't remember, always check it. It might save you and your piece. Check the locking devices on the tailstock, the tool rest often. I mean, they do loosen up, but sometimes you move and you don't really realize you didn't lock it that good. Also check the chuck tightness, especially on wetwood. Every so often check it, and make sure you use all 3 holes, even though it's got 2. That's what I always taught. Never leave the chuck key in, right, Cade? He's a good one for that one. Make sure that ever happens. Also, we talked about extension cords, and people out there talking about, hey, I got a saw installed and I'm short a couple feet. Okay, to put an extension on? No, do it right. Put a new cord on it. A temporary, real quick. Hey, I need to use it now. Probably okay. Don't make it permanent. Do it the right way. Also, make sure that if something's made for say 20 or 30 amps, that's what the device is. Don't overload it, and don't underpower it with the wrong breakers. It's going to you're going to have a fire, and you may be lucky you're there when it goes on fire, and you may not be. So be careful out there. Do things right. Be safe. May Bell be with you.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. Jeff's our safety director, and it's a volunteer position. Just like we have a website master, or master website master. Keep forgetting about that. And if you haven't checked out our website, take a day off and check it out. I mean it. Take a day off to check it out, because it is full. It is just chock-a-block full of all the tips and ideas, hints, and all that, and your input. That's what our newsletter is all about. Also, it is your input to this club, because it's your club. Click the button, join. No membership dues, no commitments. We are developing a secret handshake, but we won't be able to show that right away. If
all the information on our website, it would take more than a day to look at it and watch it all. That's for sure.
Oh, it's amazing. My wife throws me out the house every day. She actually does. And I'll go out on the patio out back, right in front of the shop, or I'll go to the front gallery and take my computer. And the other day, I just clicked on something and said, oh, wow, I saw it on YouTube. I followed it, and then I realized we had about 40 YouTubes. And I watched all of them, then I went to the website. So it's all there, folks. It's all, so you see a little something tonight, like when we see the demonstration later on this evening. When you see something like that, if it is informative, it's going to be there anyway. Part of our show, it'll be separated and labeled. It'll still be on the whole program, but that's 3 hours long. But you can go there and see it and pick out the piece you want. I watched that Evanizing Dying thing that we had last week. I watched it once, then I sat and took notes about it, because it's an interesting procedure, and I think I've been doing it wrong. And I know the color shift that I was seeing is the color shift that my friends and everybody else saw when they looked at the piece. Now I'll kick his butt. If you're up for a gallery tonight, jump on. If you got questions, problems, comments, whatever, jump in there. We got almost 100 woodturners from around the world. And really, I mean, Martin's sitting in Great Britain, Donald's in Australia, Cade's in Canada, and we have some South Americans with us. Hey, we're worldwide woodturners.
There we are. Without further ado, let's go to Ernie's long lost relation. Tom, how you doing?
I am good, thank you. And first thing I got to show is a ingrain birch bowl. And the only reason that I show this is it started out life as a vase. And it got a little thin. It got a little thin up there. And
but you saved it.
I saved it. And the other one is this is my prototype wig stand that I made. It is out of 2x6s and 2x8s. So I'll be making a few more of these. I volunteer at a local hospital, and they're ready to take some.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, I think I have to go.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Get it up here in just 1 second.
Close, Tom. There you go.
Thank you.
All right.
Tom's in there as a wig stand warrior. We could probably put him in a 2x4 club, but right now that competition's getting a little steep in there. So
okay, well I'll work on the 2x4 version.
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen tonight blows away the 2x4 world. So, all right, look, let's explain this. The badges and all that is what's come about in the past 2 years of doing this program. We kid a lot, we tease a lot. We have different badges for different things. Got one right here for Pole Barn. He got hurt the other day. He was turning the bowl on TV, on YouTube, and something went wrong, and it blew up. And I mean, it blew up. No doubt about it. It was everywhere. But he got wounded. So Brenda is in charge of the Band-Aid brigade, and we awarded him a Band-Aid award. So, but we also have one for the funnel club. We had a member in that tonight. The 2x4 club, the wig stand club, the junior member club. And if you've got a better way or a way you want to add to this, let's go. We're going to probably do the bottle stopper club because we want to see what you can turn.
We'll do it.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
All right, well, let's go back to the UK, Eddie, and see what Michael's got. He's got some boxes.
Mike, hey, I knew you were there.
Oh, good evening. It's
Hey, Mike.
5 to 1 in the morning here on there. I've just got a small boxwood box that I did finish this afternoon with a walnut insert in the lid. And this one is threaded.
Ooh, I like the thread.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. That's very nice.
Nice job, Mike.
18 TPI threads, hand thread chased.
What
Very nice,
TPI?
Michael.
18.
18.
Yeah.
I like how you put the extra beads on it to camouflage the separation at the joint.
Yeah,
That's really a nice move.
Yeah. Just with a point tool, and then I just used guitar wire to burn the.
And that's boxwood?
It is, yeah, English boxwood, yeah.
We don't get English boxwood over here. Y'all still mad about that revolution thing, so.
Well, you shouldn't have thrown our tea into the water, should you?
Well, I'm a coffee drinker. It didn't matter to me, but that's a pretty
Yeah,
box.
that's where you drink coffee now. And I've also just got a small. This is Mapani, a small box. Can you see? And this isn't threaded. This is a.
That's nice. What kind of wood is that?
Mapani.
Popani?
Mapani, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Huh.
It is.
Very nice.
Where's that wood from?
Africa. It's an African hardwood.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice color.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice detail.
Top too.
Oh yeah.
Looks
Yeah.
pretty intense.
Well,
Those
nice
rings-
Thank you
shine.
very much.
Nice shine. What's the finish?
Hampshire sheen. High
Oh,
gloss.
okay.
Yeah,
Very nice.
that's it on both of them, and also on the boxwood.
Very nice.
Good.
Very
Thank you.
nice, Michael. Thank you for sharing tonight
All
from
right.
the UK. All right.
Let's go back to the Jersey Devil.
The Jersey Devils there?
Devil.
Hey, there you go. Yep. It's funny. I hung out some very famous carvers that we did at Jersey Devil Head. They had to repair it, and I had my hands on it. Hey, I do a lot of garage sales and stuff, and I found this thing at a garage sale. I paid a whole $1 for it. This is just it was grimy, like wax. I just degreased it real quick, but I haven't polished it up yet. But I don't know what kind of wood it is. But I mean, I paid a whole $1 for it. So I hate to see wood just sitting there and get thrown out. But it's just a beautiful piece. But if you do something real quick and you throw a little alcohol and you see how gorgeous this stuff is, a little alcohol, don't drink it. And I mean, it's just gorgeous. Oh, that keeps away the shine.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's just beautiful wood. I mean, and it's nice, thin all the way around. I mean, it's been really done nice. It's probably mass produced, but it's gonna look nice once I polish it. So keep your eyes open. You never know. I did find some of my friends' turnings out there too locally. You never know what's out there. So thank you.
Do you think it's walnut?
I don't know. It's either walnut or I mean, it's got a lot of nice grain.
Mm-hmm. Nice curl.
And Yeah, it's gonna be pretty. Maybe I'll let my girlfriend put it. She actually bought a cheap wood bowl, put it on a bunch of junk by our front door. So you got to be kidding! You bought one? Well, it was cheap.
Yeah, you
It's
can do
always
something,
something.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Thanks.
Jeff. Brenda, you made a box?
Yeah, I watched Dean's video on the little boxes that he made, and so this is my first attempt, and it was real loose, wouldn't stay together. So after remembering the conversation we had last week about not being able to put wood back on and the difference between the ebonizing and using stain, I decided to paint the inside here. Added a little to it, then. So now it stays on.
Good. Super glue is real
Nice.
good building up your tenon to make it thicker so it'll fit better too.
Yeah, you can put it on a couple of coats and keep building on it, and you can't see it.
Yeah,
That's
right.
true.
Okay.
You
So
can
the
al-
second one I made, I put the Parfix 3408 finish on it. Yeah, how stupid was that, right? I couldn't open it. Yeah.
No.
I used a knife, the X-Acto knife, and tried to cut it through, and finally did get it apart, but it broke.
Oh.
Yeah.
That got to be kind, but is that a toothbrush holder?
No, it's just a little box.
Look at the shape of it. I mean, that's a great toothbrush holder.
The other one looked like a cigar box.
Yeah, I thought this, and can you tell it's off center? Look,
Toothpick holder.
can you see that?
Yeah.
Center.
Did you turn them separate?
No.
Oh, something was off center in your lathe.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
That happens on my lathe too. When I make boxes, I hate it because when I go to put the lid on, unless I line it up exactly the way I turned it on the lathe, it is slightly egg shaped. I've always had that problem with my lathe.
But Dean
So
says
frustrating.
Dean's going to talk about that in a few moments.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, it's like egg shaped because you can line it up.
I usually find that there's something going on with my tailstock when that happens. If I brush the lathe off before I move my tailstock back in, it usually lines back up perfectly. It's usually sawdust underneath the on the lathe bed underneath the tailstock that when you lock your tailstock, it's not level anymore.
See, we
Yeah,
always
but-
looking at that left and right, but up and down will also do it. That's what you're talking about.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Brenda, I've seen some of the things you've turned lately, and boy, I tell you what, you paying attention. Look at this. Look at this.
Check this out. I made ink pens this week. I got a dog pen.
Holy moly, that's a
another
pin
dog
load of pens.
I sold a lot of them last week at my craft show, and I got another craft show coming up this weekend.
Did you do well at your craft show?
That's great.
Not as well as I expected, but it was all right. I made money. I got rid of stuff.
I admire the fact that you were able to pump all those out. Like,
Well, I think I was making 3 or 4 of them a day.
still, that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And they're beautiful.
I started in pens, so that was my first.
Yeah, I struggle there. So I admire those who make pens.
Well, I tell
Some
you what, I
people think
do
it's
have noticed-
simple, but it's not.
What I have noticed though is the pens that I'm making now compared to the ones I first made are a lot nicer only because of the Parfix.
Oh, okay.
A difference big time. Because even the CA glue, I was having to resand it a lot after the.
Yeah, that's the trouble I'm finding with the clay pens that I'm making. They'll soak up that thin CA really good, but unfortunately that type of clay you're not supposed to use Starbond. Well, that's what I have, so I'm gonna have to find some other glue because what it takes, it like dissolves the polymer even after it's been baked. So I'm having problems with it chipping around the edges. Trying to get it perfected, and it's frustrating me. So I totally admire anybody who does pens, period, because even my mandrel is like off a little bit. So when I put the pen on, it's like egg shaped. And I'm like, I just want to quit. I just want to walk away and be done. So fuzz. It's little dinky stuff, and I'm used to just hogging out big bowls because that's my thing. And these little, I'm losing my mind.
You should have started with the pens.
I know, and that's a lot of people did, and I didn't. I just went straight to large things because that was my desire. And now the little stuff, even finials, drive me bonkers because I have to be gentle. I don't know how to be gentle. But they're beautiful pens. I admire you for being able to make them. I struggle with them so hard.
Well, thank you.
To do a video for me, Brenda. Do a video and post it on YouTube just for me, please.
No.
See, the first sergeant's in the pack tonight, unless I'm just sign in. But Doug Rowe collects the pens and passes them on to our troops. But a lot of folks, when you say pens, they think chinky dinky little things. You both have said it. They are a work of art, and they're not chinky and dinky. And Kim has learned you can't go rough, but Kim also understands how her tools cut and slice. And when you're doing a pen, you don't use a 3/4 inch rough and gouge. Okay, maybe you can,
I do.
but you better be good.
I do.
Yeah, I'm going to brag. I can do a pen soup to nuts with a rough and gouge because rough and gouge is a bad description for a really good tool.
Yeah.
But you better know how it works. So
yeah, or to bite you. I've broken one. A lot of people post pictures of them breaking those roughing gouges, especially with the tangs being so small. They'll get you. They'll get you.
Oh, I swear, I've never lightning in your ear. I've never broken one.
Oh, me
I've,
neither.
I've worked my butt off to try to weld it back together, and I knew how to do it. It didn't work out.
It's a great tool. You can even put it slightly angled at a skew angle and do a skew finish on a pen without actually even switching tools.
Yeah, it gives you can see the shine appear. That's why I love the roughing gouge. It's versatile. Like if you use it, like you can get a beautiful shine, and that's what I love. You can just, and when you're doing that cut perfect because it feels good. Number one, I always go by feel. And number two, you get that like it's burnishing and just leaving a beautiful finish. Like you don't even have to sand it when you're done. You're like, yes.
You peeled it away. You peeled away with a slice. And all right, Kim, calm down.
I'm sorry.
But if you slice it away, it works better. And it will also help you learn how to go uphill and downhill with the same hand. Some people say you got to go downhill towards your tailstock. Well, I can't do it with my left hand. Yes, you can, but you'll learn how to do it with your right hand. You will. It's a great art. Thank you, Brenda, for sharing tonight. Some pretty work.
Yep.
And I'm not bragging on you. She does some beautiful work, folks, and she shares with us every week. She's one of our co-hosts, and she is the queen of Band-Aids here.
Yeah.
Our Band-Aid brigade, because Brenda started it all a year or so ago and say, hey, Brenda, how was the turning today? Look, no Band-Aids.
Yeah. Hey, Addie.
Yeah.
Since you had to mention that, see my hand right here? See the little cut right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that on a drill bit.
Drill bit?
Went out and started. And about a half hour later, I got the tip of a skew right there on my finger. That one I had to wrap that one up. It kind of bled a little bit.
Leak, huh?
Didn't even feel it though until it started bleeding,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, let it shut it.
Yep, that one was sharp. It's a brand new one, and it came sharp. And yeah, it
You're
got,
like me in the shop. You're a dadgum tornado.
yeah.
Like tornado in there. Not even a bull. It's a tornado, full on tornado. And if it's sharp, you're gonna get marked up by it somehow.
Now we have a section, a column for Brenda on our website. I just didn't realize we'd have to put Brenda in on it.
That's why.
Are we going for rewards points? Is there rewards points involved in this?
Rewards. Oh man.
If so, you guys ain't gonna beat me.
Looks like
We are
Joaquin-
lost.
Joaquin wants a certificate too, Eddie.
Joaquin wants one?
Yeah. Yep. He just posted. He nipped himself on his dovetail saw.
It's just it's tiny. It's not. That ain't nothing.
Mine was tiny too.
Oh, we'll give a little kiss for your boo boo.
I was cutting the lid. I was cutting the stem off a little lid, and it was just too close, and I didn't want to send it across the shop, and it was little, and yeah, my thumb was in the way.
Dadgum digits always getting in the way.
Clicked up the wrong.
Now I got
the wrong one.
competition.
Hey, if it's closed, you can fix it. If it's not, it'll bleed. So.
All right. So Eddie, we got a question in chat from Chris. He's wanting to put a handle on a large D-Way skew, and he's looking for input on length.
Wow. All right, we have 94 people in here. That means we can get a minimum of 94 opinions here.
8 foot. 8 foot.
What do you think this is? Ashley Hardwood, 8-foot tool. Come on.
How big is it laid? That's the most important. How big is it laid?
Yeah, I would say 10 to 12 inches would be fine because
I was going for 11. I didn't pick that, but that's where I would have went, 11.
That's
Just
a mighty
'cause you don't-
personal question.
You don't need the leverage like you would on a bowl gouge or a scraper. So I would say 10 to 12 inches.
Yep.
You're doing slicing cuts under control.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you need a long handle because you're going to get back away from it, that ain't the tool you want to do it with.
Yeah, I would say no more than 12 inches, no shorter than 10.
Yeah.
And if you got a weight problem, go down in size because if that belly gets in your way, you're not going to be happy at all. I'm not. All right, it's 10 after the hour, and you're on with worldwidewoodturners.org. We invite your input. You got a question, a comment, or a need, let's share. I mean, we're going to go to Jack, right? Is that Jack that popped in? Okay, or it's just the overroad. All right. Are we ready for our demonstration with Dean?
Yeah, I think, Dean, are you ready?
We can start anytime you guys want to.
Well, all right, I'll bring you up now then.
All right, well, let me put my tea over here so I don't get chips in it.
You get chips and everything else.
In this shop, you're right. Been able
I
to
can
get out
understand.
here just long enough to make a mess and not very much time for cleaning here lately. So it is a bit of a mess.
Well, you know that the shavings are a pad, so if you drop something, it won't break.
Well, that's what I was thinking, just a little benefit there. And it's cushion under your feet. So, that way you don't get a bad back. All right, guys. What we're talking about doing. Let's see. Pull that around, and I've got us on the wrong.
Oh, got to be nighttime.
Lost your camera.
Yeah, try that. Hit
That's
the
right.
wrong button there. There we go. So what we're talking about doing is these little boxes. Now, we saw some boxes earlier that were really nice and really detailed, and one of the things that Brenda talked about is this didn't necessarily line up. Well, I came up with this, or I saw it. I don't know where I came up with it, but I started doing it for the craft shows so that I would have something that was a little quicker to make and I could sell for a little bit less. Because a lot of folks, if they see it, that impulse buy, they'll buy it in a hurry. So let me just show you guys some of these that I've done. This one's fairly simple. Sometimes I'll put a little bead on the end of them. Sometimes I'll just round them off. This is one of my favorites, just a little bead in the middle. The nice thing about that too is if you don't notice, am I still there?
You're there. You're good.
Okay.
Yep. Good to go.
I lost my view, so let me see.
We're looking at your chuck right now.
Yeah, we're on your overhead camera.
All right. Let me get this. Okay, well. Okay, hopefully that's back where I can see it now too. Sorry about that. I guess I bumped against the mouse when I was down there. Anyway, I do several of those like that. One of the ones that I don't have right now that's real popular is just straight on the sides and squared off on the ends. It's amazing. The simplest form is one of the ones that goes first. So let's talk about this just a little bit. We'll get started. You'll notice that I marked the center here on both ends. And then I'll come in and take, what was that? Was a question there?
Yeah, how big is the blank?
Oh, that was a question about a coring system with McNaughton's.
Okay. All right, so I'll take the little center punch or an awl or something and just go ahead and pop that in there. And basically what I do is just like so. And then that gives me something that's going to fit on my live center, my tailstock, so I can get it centered back up when I put it back on here. So let's go ahead and stick one in the chuck. What I do is I push it all the way back in. Now I do cut these very specifically to make sure they're square, and I make sure the ends are square. So once I get that in there fairly snug, I have a template. Basically it's 6 inches long, the blank's 6 inches long. And I come back an inch from each end. And then I've got my marks here where I'm going to part it apart in the center. All right, and you'll notice there's bandsaw cuts in that. That way I can flip it over and use it either side. I know where I'm at. So let's take a pencil here. And I know I need to part it right about there, okay? If I make a mark all the way across there, on most wood, I can see that when it's turning. Go ahead and get my face shield on there. And remember what Jeff was talking about starting your lathe up slow, giving it a spin before you start, making sure everything's good. There's no reason to start it off fast, folks. By the way, can y'all hear me okay?
Fine.
Yes.
Good deal. I know sometimes you put these face shields on, you can't hear people anymore. I hear that all the time on demos, but you know, I go ahead and wear mine. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this thin parting tool, about a 1/16 of an inch. We're gonna come in down just a little bit. We're gonna come in and we're just gonna part that off. And now we have two pieces. The next step is we're going to bring a 5/8 inch Forstner bit in. You folks see the blue tape? If anybody watched the video when it first went up, my address went out for the world. One of the Forstner bits I always take to our club retreat, so I'll make sure that my name's on everything. Now we're going to drill in with this Forstner bit just to the back of this black line. A lot of the Forstner bits you'll see have that little recess in there. Well, that seems to be just about perfect on this one. And if I measure that, it comes out to be 3/8 of an inch. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't measuring to the right spot there. Hang on, guys. Didn't think that was right when I said it. It comes out to be a 1/2 inch. So we've got the lathe turning at about 500 RPMs. And we're just going to drill right into that real slow. Not that big a hole, but no sense getting in a rush, right?
The heat builder is what kills you if you go too fast.
Yes. And especially if you're drilling a deeper hole, it can really cause you problems, and the heat can create problems for your finished product after you get it done. Okay, so we're going to drill in, and remember, we're working on the top piece here. So we're going to drill in about 1 inch, and I've got that marked on the twist drill bit. The Forstner bit was a 5/8. This is a 1/2 inch. So we're just going to go ahead and pull that, push that right on in there. And that's all we need to do there.
What's the speed on your lathe for drilling?
We're sitting at about 500 right now, Captain. Give or take a little bit. The digital readout went out on my one-way. Does yours still work?
Never had one.
Oh, okay.
How fast does your lathe go? About that fast.
About that fast. How fast does it need to go? Okay, so remember I said I put a center mark on the end of that blank? That's what's going in towards the chuck.
But it doesn't line up with anything.
You're right, it doesn't. Remember,
Wow.
Captain, when I said I wanted something I could do really fast? And remember when
man.
Brenda said they didn't always line up perfect? Well,
Oh, no, we're doing something for Brenda?
Yeah.
this is all for Brenda, man.
Okay.
Brenda needs all the help she can get.
So one of the things when before I start drilling this, you'll see that little nub there. One of the things we can do is just come in with a skew, knock that little nub off, and then take the tip of the skew and just make ourselves just a little bit of divot. And what that does is it gives that drill bit someplace to start.
Keeps it from walking.
Exactly.
Is that a Brad point or standard one?
That is a Brad point.
Okay.
There's no reason you couldn't do it with a standard.
No, don't. I'm not arguing. Not a Brad point is the way to go.
I love them. But I just don't want anybody out there that doesn't have a set to think that they can't do it without them. And some of you folks may see me with my hand on the Jacobs chuck. If you're drilling with a Jacobs chuck, it's always best to keep your hand on it. You do not want that thing coming loose and starting to spin on you. And there we go.
The novice turners, if you notice, his bit is not clogged up with shavings because it's sharp and he took it slow.
We went slow. If you get a bunch of baked up stuff in here that's real solid and you got to pry it out, two things. Your lathe is going too fast and you're pushing it in too fast.
Remember, it's cutting. It's cutting. That's all he's doing.
You also don't use your fingers to clean the shavings out. Use a brush.
Yeah.
Sounds like a man that can't stand splinters.
What size blank did you start with, Dean? Was that a pen blank size?
This was actually 1 inch, and I basically cut it off. I had some bowl blanks that sat there too long and kind of cracked up a little bit. So I'm using them to make handles and stuff like that. So I just ripped it 1 inch square on my bandsaw. There is no reason you couldn't go with the bigger bowl blank. It'd be a little tighter, but you know, we're basically 5/8 center, and you got a 3/4 inch on most of those bowl blanks, so it could be done.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so remember this little thing? This is the middle. We got a place to draw us a line right there. Now, why do you folks think we might need a line in there?
I think that's recessed for the top to fit down on. Shoulder.
Exactly. We're gonna make us a little tenon on that and make it to where it'll fit in the other end. So go ahead and get this thing back going. We're going to turn the speed up a little bit on this. Now remember, folks, we are spindle turning, so we can get away with a little more speed. And that mark, I'm just making sure it's where I want it with the speeder, okay? And then I'm going to come in and just do a speed impact. And again, as I raise the handle up, let's try that. As I raise the handle up, I'm pushing it in. It's kind of a rocking motion. Tell you what, let's bring that down just a little bit. Did I do okay turning that off before I move this tool wrist, Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he all right?
We all think we can get away with that, but just be safe and make sure you're you're not taking chances, okay? And you'll notice I'm making a little bit of a bevel on this. So let's stop it. And let's check and see if it fits. Okay, you see me turning that a little bit? If you look there, now we have burnishing. Here's the tip. Do not take away the burnishing. If you do, it's too loose. All right.
Brenda, pay attention to that. Brenda.
Okay, so now we're going to come in. I'm just going to bring the rest of that. Let's see, that may be all we need right there. Let's check.
Now, we had a question on chat about the depth, the sizes of the holes. Lan put that in there. Lan, I hope this now helps you. Because he had a question about the advantage of drilling the 5/8 hole and a 1/2 inch hole instead of drilling a 5/8 hole for full depth. No, do a cross section of this thing right now, Lan, and you'll see that there's no voids. You've got a 1/2 inch sleeve all the way through, and the 5/8 gives you the shoulder and the mortise and the tenon to make the connection.
Thank you, Captain. That's exactly right. And folks, at this point, we've got the top fitted on to the bottom. Okay, it's tight. In fact, you might have a little trouble taking it off of there. But don't worry about that.
Now, right now, let me hold you up. If you were to turn that, the cap end of it, if you were to turn it 90 degrees right now, would the sides still line up? What I'm asking, is anything out of round? Can you show, if you did that, would anything be around? Folks would say,
it could possibly be, and a lot of times it is. So if I turn it that way, just slightly side to side.
Now,
That's
does that-
180. Yeah, that's slightly off.
Yes, that's what mine was doing, or is still.
Okay. Now, if you want to do it and you don't want to get that, don't put the center marks in the end. Cut you a tenon on the end and put it in a chuck. But while you're cutting the tenon, fitting it in the chuck, I'm starting my second one. And again, this is something that I'm going to do for somebody to put toothpicks in, put their pills in, put their money in, whatever, and stick in their pocket and carry around. It's something that I want to be nice, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So we've got this far, and I believe we're turned back to, yeah, we're back where we need to be. So let's see. I don't think I tightened that down this time. I guess I'll find out very shortly. I probably did. Hang on, guys. I'm going to walk around the other side of the lathe. Well, where did that thing go?
Well, these get that done, folks. So I remind you to turn to worldwidewoodturners.org. You can get free membership into this club. All you need to do is go to our website, click on any part you want, and that's where you're going to get access. It is free. Wow. You just cleaned that up?
Best tip of the whole night right here. You sell those at all the box stores, and they're for picking up roofing nails when they do the roof. It's a big old magnet. If you drop something on the other side of the lathe or in shavings, it picks it up.
I kept losing mine like that until I stuck it on a metal door to the shop.
There you go.
What kind of
Mine
hook
hangs
is
from the
something?
garage door opener.
Yeah.
The garage door railings. I
There
used
you go.
it twice today.
Yeah, but wait till you drop a brass part.
Yeah, it doesn't work so good on those.
Or some stainless steels that don't. Good there. I kept thinking about an old fishing buddy that got some magnetic signs to put on the side of his aluminum boat. Couldn't figure out why they wouldn't stick.
You
Oh,
should
nice looking signs.
I have a Ford F-150, and after the freeze, I had a water leak, so I was concerned that that I had a freeze plug that messed up on me. So rather than taking a chance of trying to drive it to the dealership, I had them come out and pick it up with a wrecker, and they got it all hooked up, and they got their lights out, and they decided to put the lights on the hood. Well, they're magnetic lights. The F-150's 2017 forward are all aluminum. That kid couldn't figure out why they wouldn't stick. So finally he got tired of trying on that and decided to put them on top of the cab. I'm like, buddy, that's not going to work a lot better for you. Okay, so what we have now is we have the piece centered up.
What's the headstock drive? What are you using?
That's just a little step center.
Okay.
In fact, it's fairly new to me because I've been working on some smaller stuff, and everything I had has 1-inch drives, so I was running into problems. Now, guys, you'll notice that that thing's shorter already. Well, remember, we took a cut out here, and then we took about a 3/8 cut that's now pushed up in here. So the top of this actually goes up into here now. Everybody follow me?
So for the mortise is going into the tenon. Tenon's going
So-
to the mortise, pardon me.
So the part that we want to be our top is right about here. And where we want our bottom is right about here. Now we left a lot of space there that we can use for design and manipulating that and decide what we want it to look like. And let's see, let's just do something simple, something like this, okay? Y'all okay with that?
Fine.
Good deal.
All the tools they need and a piece of wire. Heck, that's good.
Did Brenda say we needed to use a spindle roughing gouge?
Kim did.
Oh, Kim did, okay.
In a little while, we're going to speak with Randy Smith. He's got an idea for chuck keys, and we'll share that with you folks in a few minutes. We're going to continue this with Dean Grimes, who's got an awesome website, and he's got a lot of videos on YouTube. Everything you see here, you'll probably see on YouTube, and it's that's how we get our demonstrations.
Again, we're just not doing anything fancy. We're just sliding back and forth. And for the new folks out there, you'll notice as I'm cutting with that, I'm not moving my arm. All right? Let your body flow with that. You get a lot smoother cuts. So we've still got one rough side there. Let's go ahead and bring that on down.
Okay, folks, we're live.
Ruh-roh.
That's what happens.
Ruh-roh.
Oops.
That's what happens when
That's okay.
when things don't work out the way you want them to. Yeah, that's one I know is out of square to begin with, so let's grab another one.
This is on a closed circuit. Kim, did you see Paul Barnes' recent bowl catastrophe?
Yeah, he actually text messaged me a picture of it in his hand when it had happened. And I was like, oh no. And yeah, he's okay. He's fine. He started, if you notice, he started to get almost to making a funnel club. And what happened was the bottom of it was so very weak because it was so thin. So when he came in to scrape those sides, that it busted at the very bottom where the mortise was. So if you start hearing that hollow sound, it's probably not best. I'm not criticizing him for doing what he did. By no means, it's not my place. But I'm just saying it's probably best not to continue if you start hearing that hollow, especially with mortises, because that'll happen with a mortise, obviously. If you come running up them sides with any tool, the first place it's going to give is that bottom, and it will shatter like that because it's the bottom that's weak. I know by experience.
Oh, okay. I thought you read about that. Okay.
Same thing goes for harmonics at the side when you're up at the rim.
Yeah.
Yes,
harmonic-
exactly.
Starts walking.
It starts flexing on you, and then you get added vibration, and then it bounces back, hits that tool, and blows up on you.
Yes, I learned that the hard way, and even with dried woods, I would always finish my rims first, doing all my scraping and everything else, and then continue, because having that meat in the bowl helps keep the rim of it more sturdy. And if you work that way, and I learned that with wet wood, but I'd even do it with my dry, you'll have less of that looks like a hammered mark on your rims whenever you go back to scrape them. So I kind of, everybody has their own techniques because they learn from their own experiences. And I think those experiences are very handy. Very, very handy.
Yes.
Okay, what we're gonna do is just set the skew and do a V cut right here on the end. Again on this end.
Folks, if you're just joining us, the pen box I call the pen box, that we started turning, departed the lathe. So now we have a piece of stock that would be very similar to what we started with. And we're going to continue the demonstration that way.
Okay, and so this little spot right here, that's where our piece comes together at.
Did your mic move? It's a little harder to hear you all of a sudden.
Let's see, what may have. Is that better?
Not really.
Not really.
Better, but it's still muffled.
See what we got there. I'm sure we're not running out of battery or something. Testing. It shows that I'm putting out full volume here. But y'all can't hear me as well?
We hear you. It's just a little more, it's muffled more than it was earlier, but we can continue at this rate.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know
Now, you
what that-
see, we had some better sound just a second ago. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was Cash.
There's a baby. Oh,
Sorry.
baby. Don't apologize.
Well, I just lost him.
Don't commentate.
Okay. And so all we're doing really at this point on this one is we're just beveling that down. Again, not anything difficult. It doesn't have to be.
But novice turners, look at what's coming off. It's coming off in ribbons, squigglies.
Now,
And
one
look
of
at the
the
finish
things
on
that
that
I
piece.
do is I'll take pieces of sandpaper, the whole sheet, and I'll staple them together. And so I've got 150, 220, and 320. And I just staple it together and then cut them in strips. And that's all I'm going to do with this, guys. And I don't take a whole lot of time in doing it. We're going to go through the entire sanding process here for you. That was 150. That was 220. That's 320. Now at that point, I will stop the lathe and I'll take the 320 and I'll just do this all the way around. Why do I do that? Because if there is a scratch, if it's going with the grain, nobody's going to notice it. That's sanded. This is a little cup of walnut oil. Well, not much walnut oil. It's mostly empty, but you'll see exactly the brush has more in it than what's in the cup.
Walnut oil is food safe.
It is. We're going to put a little walnut oil on there. I'm not going to let it set long. I'm going to turn the speed up a little bit, and I'm just going to burnish it in just a little bit. And guys, one important thing to mention here too, I don't finish the inside. My beeswax is, let's just say it's getting a little low there. And I'm just going to come along that with the beeswax. Turn the speed up just a little bit more. And all we're doing is heating that up and letting it get into the wood. Once we've got that done, we're going to come in and I'm going to part off just a little bit of high. I'm going to leave just a little bit of a nub on there on purpose. The reason I do that is I want to sand that off. By doing that, I'm going to take my power sander I'm just gonna hit the end of that just a little bit. Remember that rag I used with the walnut oil and the beeswax? I'm just going to kind of work that in there. Now here comes the fun part. I think we're done with that. Can you get it apart? Probably not. Let me show you something. That sandpaper I showed you a while ago has kind of a rubbery back. You can do the same thing with shelf liner. You can do the same thing with those little grabby things you use to open jars in the kitchen with. But I just take and wrap that around there. Open it right up. There you go. Now, wait a minute. That's a little too tight for a customer to have to do. Once you put it on there and take it off a couple of times, you don't need the sandpaper anymore. And guess what, Brenda? You won't have to paint that one.
Brenda,
Folks,
don't put any super glue there when you put it back together.
you saw how quick that went. And that's talking about it and doing a demo at the same time.
I'm gonna try again.
Did you
Finish Friday?
Did you finish the inside, or do you at all put anything on the inside?
I don't put anything on the inside.
Okay.
And I try to take out what's in there, that sawdust, you know. But the thing about it is, if you don't put anything on the inside, you don't have to worry about it interacting with somebody's medicine or getting their $100 bills all oily and stuff. And I hate it when that happens, you know.
Oh, yours get oily too?
Well, if I ever had one, Captain, it might.
I had one a long time ago. It was silly. It had 3 numbers on it and all that. It was...
Yeah.
All right, before you get away, Ronnie wants to jump in. He's got a tip for folks. Hey, Ronnie, you back in here again? Ronnie, you need to talk.
Yeah, okay. It takes me a second to unmute myself. Dean,
Yes, sir.
When you were trying to get your chuck off your lathe, you
Yes, sir.
took your handle that you normally tighten your lathe with, or you went grabbing for something. Eddie, do you have me up? There we are. If you can see this is called a spanner wrench.
Yes, sir.
And what you do, you go to anybody that sells natural gases, whether you acetylene, oxygen, or anything else, and that's your best bet to get one. This is a 4-inch spanner wrench. And I gave one of these to Eddie, and I gave one of these to my neighbors. And what you do, your chuck, when you go to get your chucks off or putting them on, the hole that you would normally tighten your chuck with, it fits right in there, and you're able to tighten your chuck onto your lathe or get
I
it off
like
the
that
other.
idea, and I don't know why I hadn't thought about it, and I'll message you my address as soon as I get back in the house.
Well, the only thing I can tell you is go to a natural gas supplier, acetylene, oxygen, anything else, and tell them you want a 4-inch spanner wrench.
Yes, sir.
And
it's been many years since I worked in the chemical plants, but we used to use those things.
Right, and just to let everybody know, let's see where it is. These little tips right here. Not that you would use or break them off with your chucks, but we used to break them off using them connecting pipes together. You break these little tips off. These tips are replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, this is a great tool, and what we use it for, you'd never put that much pressure on it to put your chuck on or to take it off. And they really work good. I don't know if Eddie I don't guess Eddie has used his yet, but when he does,
I'm sorry, it's time for a commercial break.
Eddie, let me show these folks one more thing before I
All
shut up
right.
for the night. Jacob's Chuck key. You can't lose it.
Oh, trust me. Yes, you can.
Just stick the handle in there and just snug it down. And when you find the chuck, you'll have the key.
The problem is you don't see the key and you keep looking for the key, even though it's right in your chuck.
Okay,
would
so
know
it
that
happened to
from
somebody.
experience.
So it happened to somebody else. All right, I feel better now.
Exactly.
Dean, great demonstration, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Fantastic. A lot of tips and tricks. So, okay, if you don't want to do a little slim case like that, I don't talk about any other turners. You don't want to do a little slim case like that. Take his concept and go with it. I mean, just there's nothing about size and all this. Just take it, go with it. All the techniques he showed you, drilling a hole, drilling a counter hole, building the mortise, fitting the tenon, how you held it, how you finished it, how you spun it, that doesn't change with the size. So if you're looking to create something, a quick project, I got a whole bunch of 1.5 by 1.5 turning lumber and I want to make a little bit larger one, go for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I really think we've got to get one done for Brenda as a toothbrush holder, you know? I just don't want to hollow that teeth. That would not be fun. All right, Lan Brady said Amazon's got that Chuck spanner wrench and the information is on the chat tonight. And if you don't get this, folks, copy the chat before you leave. And if you miss it, our webmaster, our master webmaster, puts it on our website each week. But a great demo. Thank you, Dean.
What he put up there was for the Nova Chuck tool. Does the
that's
same
a
job.
Nova. Is it the same thing?
No, it's a little different, but it does the same job.
Okay.
Yeah, click on the link and you'll see it. It looks different.
All right.
But it's
Or make
partially
print-
designed the same way.
Or become a good friend with Ronnie if he'll send you one.
Yeah, don't let me forget to send him my address.
Yeah, go ahead. Throw it in the chat, you know, in case
I'm
somebody
gonna
else.
get that one back from Eddie and I'll send it to you.
That's not required for Vicmar chucks. They have a little hole already drilled in the back side of the chuck and provide a writing pin to be able to pull it off.
Like a lever bar.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, the one ways have got that also for their older jams.
On the back side of the Vicmar, that's what that hole is for there on the collar that goes over the spindle.
Again, thank you, Dean. Folks, if you're interested in doing a demonstration for us, it's so simple. All you have to do is ask. Say, I got this, I want to show it, because that's where it comes from. You know, a couple of weeks ago, if you didn't catch it, it's on our website. We had a guy in Ontario, Canada, do a demonstration for us, and it was an impromptu thing. Now, get this. His son, his first son, Cash, who we've seen tonight, was a newborn. And Kay did a demonstration for us, chucked it up and turned it, and he showed us how tools slice and how what he got done cutting this piece out. Now I get this, cutting this piece out, it had a better finish than many turners achieve when they're finished sanding. And he didn't touch it with a piece of abrasive. He didn't. Well, Cade has got a project going this weekend, and he's invited some friends to join him. And there's going to be a demonstration this weekend. It's a Zoom type program. If you want details, it's the Wood Turners Retreat with 6 turners live. And it's this Saturday, I'm sorry, Saturday, yeah, July 31st. That's it. They're going to bring you 6 different demonstrations and all. You can go to our chat and get the information on it. Cade, you didn't put the contact number, did you? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Register and details are at Worldwide Woodturners Retreat. I'm sorry, I can read this. Woodturnersretreat.com. And you'll find all the details you want or need on this. And it's an excellent program. I mean, we're not talking about half turners or club members who just jumped in. These are professional turners and instructors who are going to share tips and hints with you. Okay, I don't want to do that kind of box, but can I use that technique to do such and such? Yes. And that's why we share, and that's why you should be part of this. We're still doing gallery tonight. All you have to do is say, I have something to show. Our gallery master is Dane, and he will get it up there. Did anybody see it? The first sergeant popped in tonight?
He did, but then he popped out. He said that he'll
Okay.
see us next week.
All right. The first sergeant is Doug Rowe, and he collects our Freedom Pens. All that information is on that master website, worldwidewoodturners.org, going to see on the screen right now. That's where you can get the address to send Freedom Pens, your donation to Freedom Pens group, and Doug puts them in the troops' hands. So it's a great program. If you'd like to be part of it, we invite it. We'd like you to do so. We have bottle stoppers as a challenge for Thanksgiving. I really like to crank something up for Freedom Pens before Christmas, but we'll get to that because we're always open for ideas and things that'll help you, improve your turning skills, but also benefit the community around you. And remember, Freedom Pens benefit those people who are out there protecting our freedom. And that, to me, that's very important. I know it's important to you. To me, that's very important. Mark Clarkson wants to ask a question of Dean. Dean, you taking a question from United Kingdom? Dean, you're muted. You're muted, Dean.
Have you gone shy on us, Dean?
Okay, yes, you know I'm bashful, Martin.
Dean, can I just say that was fantastic and absolutely well done for your recovery. The question I have, the thing that interests me most, and especially because we will have some new turners here, and it's always difficult when a demonstration gets done and something goes wrong. I want to ask, where did it go wrong? When that box broke, did you go through the side of it, or was there too much pressure on the tailstock, or were you going too deep? Just to get some of the new guys to understand what the elements could go wrong.
Okay, there's a couple of things, and one of the things that I noticed, Martin, when I was rounding that off, is I think we were just off center a little bit, because it should have been round, and I still had a pretty good size flat spot.
Yeah.
So when I went back in to go ahead and go a little further in to remove that flat spot, at that point, we cut into the, well, basically we made the outside smaller than the inside.
Oh, wow.
You can't do that.
I heard that that's not the best plan.
No,
And
no.
so
I've done
we
a
need
few
to
of them,
avoid
Dean. I
doing
can
that.
totally understand that one. I was just, like I say, I think with there being so many turners and some of the guys will be new, I just wanted to understand where it went wrong and the elements that could have gone wrong. I didn't think your tailstock was too tight, and I also was quite surprised when you had the square. You really weren't far off square. It wasn't like it wasn't in the chuck properly. So
Right.
even for me, I would have liked to have understood when it did give way, why it gave way, whether it was just an element within the wood, whether the tailstock was too tight, whether we'd gone and met the inside with the outside, and that you've totally explained. Thank you very much.
Martin, and really, I want to thank you for asking that question because that's important for every one of us.
Yeah.
And there's not, I mean, I'm not going to say there's not a mistake I haven't made because I still make them and I'll continue to make them for years to come. But when you make one, figure out what happened.
Dean, I always say the cheapest way not to make mistakes is to learn from everybody else's.
Exactly.
And there is so many turners and so many programs like this where they don't tell you what went wrong. And I just wanted to kind of highlight, hey, this guy has recovered, but something went wrong. What went wrong and how can we not do it?
Exactly.
And that's answered the question. And I'd kind of thought that you were possibly off center and you'd gone through one side because you did have a massive flat, even though your square was quite good. You had that big flat and there was
and I'm not real sure how we ended up with that flat, but it was, I'm sure that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super job. Thanks, Dean.
Thank you, Martin. Appreciate the question and hope somebody picked up something from that.
Definitely did. Definitely did.
We did. And we share these ideas. And that's what I was saying earlier. We show the pluses and the minuses. I mean, if you follow Paul Barn, POHLBARN, if you follow his YouTubes, Paul Barn put one up yesterday, I believe it is, where he was going through a piece and he went through it. It blew up. He could have edited that out. He could have stopped and just used what he did earlier and faked out some part of it. And a lot of people do that. But he didn't do that. He showed you what happened, how the piece went all around the room. It broke, it went into the wall, everything. And then you knew that it started flexing and moving. And it was going to be a funnel shot, or it was almost a funnel shot. And it gave up and moved. And when it moved, he had a click and boom, it went. But he can teach you by that. And same thing as tonight. That went through for Dean, and he bailed it out. He showed you how, well, really, he didn't bail it out. He just finished the project out. But what you learned there was, we were not on a great axis for some reason, and something moved. And then when you're doing those pinches, you're relying on a wood's grain to line back up for those ends. And if it presses one way or presses the other, you'll be out of round, and that caused a flat spot. Or at least from this side of the lake, it looked like a flat spot. We've still got it.
Explain?
Go ahead, Doug.
Hey, we think I was using negative rake. I didn't get a catch. It was about 3/8 of an inch thick still, and we're thinking that the harmonics, because I was getting a squeal off of it, the harmonics exploded it. Because I've talked with Billy Bird about this. That bowl was 3/8 of an inch thick. Yes, I was going to go through the bottom of it. There was no way around that, but it should not have failed like that. It just explodes. So we're thinking that the harmonics just sent that apart.
Well, I like the fact that you showed all the way through.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is what it is. That was my project for the week. That's all I had. and I've been too busy to even get one this week. So.
And then you went and showed it to Kim.
Well, we like to make fun of one another or sympathize or cry, or we share each other's burdens, in other words. And so it's great to have like this meeting and this community so we can all, hey, Brenda's not afraid to show her mess ups. We're not afraid to show our mess ups on YouTube. We learn from them. This is how you grow and learn. Without experience, you're not going to learn. That's what builds character and integrity as wood turners, and tests every problem solving things that you can come up with, and then you learn new. And it's a fantastic growing opportunity for you personally and in your art, and you see it. The great thing about it is that you get to see it. You can look back a year from now and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I turned that ugly thing. And then and then another year you'll probably be saying the same thing about something last year. It's this art, I call it art because I feel like it takes you know, your heart and soul to do it, is a wonderful way to be able to see your growth. You see it, you get to see it. And it's important that we share our mistakes and our, you know, when we get up to showing gallery, I'm going to show you some things that I've been struggling with, and maybe you guys can give me some tips. So that's how
It's
we
great.
learn and grow.
What the great philosopher said, if you don't do anything, you won't make mistakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
So, and don't, turners, don't ever throw away your prototypes. Don't throw them away. Put a piece of wire on them, hang them on a wall, or just keep them. Do not give away your first project, because you'll want to go back and learn from that one.
Right.
So,
Eddie, I got something to learn or to add to that too.
what's that, Brenda?
Seeing the professionals like Dean have an accident like that, you know, something blow up, or like pole barns, it also gives us novice turners hope. You know, I mean, we're not the only ones, you know, that it happens to, and can also give you an incentive not to give up. You know, it's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
also remind you, as people who turn for a long time, we still come across this complacency. It's like in law enforcement, they get complacent. And that's when you start getting a little too overconfident. I've been there, done that, and certain things. And then boom, you're like, oh, it kind of like serves you a piece of humble pie in what you're doing. So I'm sorry,
one
what
of our
Kate?
first pieces we
Experience is
saw
that
tonight.
thing you get. Experience is that thing you get 10 seconds after you needed it.
Yes. Yes. Isn't that the truth?
One of the first things we saw tonight, I think it was Terry showed us where a piece got away and bounced off his shield. You know, Terry didn't have to tell us that. He could have taken that to the quiet, but you know, he showed us that something went wrong and he had protected himself and he didn't get hurt. So,
Yes, and it helps all of us.
Yep, for
Yeah.
sure. All
And
I
that's-
said, Kim, was it'll wake you up again if you get complacent.
Oh yeah,
Yes, it will.
absolutely. It
And then
makes
you-
you go, whoop, you're
Yep. And then it makes you remember just to respect the machinery. Don't become complacent with the machinery, because then something will happen and it will tell you. Just
Uh-oh. We lost right in the middle of a conversation. Kate?
yeah, I had
And sometimes you have a piece that just doesn't want to be what you want it to be. Right? It
Yeah.
actually doesn't want to be anything, like in that spalted maple bowl I turned a few weeks ago.
Yeah, sometimes the wood just is like, no, I'm just going to be beautiful firewood or somewhat shaped firewood by the time you get done with me.
Yeah, and it's
I
not.
had an oops too the other day. If
Yeah, it's
anybody
not.
wants
It's
to
not
see it.
a awkward saying, but God made all this stuff for us to work with,
Absolutely.
and He did not
Absolutely.
make two pieces alike.
Amen.
Nowhere. There's no two people alike. There's no woods alike. None of that. So when you take a shot at it, you're taking a shot at it. That's it. So, well, thank you. We're learning a lot tonight. We're going to do some more gallery. It's a little bit after the top of the hour. And at 9 o'clock, we're disappearing, folks. We're here each week for 3 hours, 6 o'clock until 9 o'clock. And we invite you and everybody else to be part of our group. If you're not sure how to join, it's real simple. Come to the meetings. If you can't make the meetings, go to our website. It's all absolutely positively free. The bank is broke. We don't have any money. We didn't have any money. We don't want any money. All we want to do is share wood turning, and that's what it's about. And I got one here from Ron Vincent, says the difference between a master and a beginner. I love this. The master's made more mistakes. Oop, it moved on me. The master has made more mistakes to mistake that beginners have attempted. So see, the masters just practice a few more times. All right. And I don't know if anybody that can, and it just bothers me when I go to galleries where they're going to have an expert review the items on the counter, or a club will have a gallery master and pick up a piece and say, this is nice, but we have a no bud guarantee right here on this program. No bud, you can't say but. You can't inject anything into somebody else's art. There are no masters, no experts. It might be a little better than some other folks, but there's no way to set the bar and say, I want to get above it. The bar is in your heart. Can't go any more than that. And something came up earlier this evening with Dean on his demonstration. We'll cover that a little bit later on. All right, we have a great demonstration tonight, great conversation, and a lot of good gallery. But Dean handles our gallery. He's our gallery master. I'm sorry, Dane. Dane Channel is our gallery master. And if we have somebody up for gallery, Dane's going to call on you. Once he announces that you're there, start talking. Because with almost 100 folks in the audience, it's hard to scroll through all those screens and find them. So, Dane?
Without further ado, Don Wilson of Georgia.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I made a little box today. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, we see it fine.
The grain is just stunning. It's a piece of persimmon. It was just a little log that I was going to pitch. It's only about 3 inches long, but I could do something with it. But the grain was just outstanding. I thought I'd share that with you. If you can see that, it's basically the lid. I get it in the light here, but it's just
beautiful.
Yeah,
and
really nice.
Yeah, it turned out real nice. It's a pretty hardwood. You know, they use that to make golf clubs and stuff. It pretty neat.
The finial all one piece?
The finial, no, I'm sorry, that's a piece of walnut.
Okay.
Just I don't throw anything away. And my son's kind of amused at that. He's in the lumber business, and I get everything I want, but I don't throw anything away. He says, "Throw it away, Dad. I'll get you another one." You know, but hey, it's like you said, it's not scrap.
That's very nice.
But also on top of that, we were talking about mistakes. I was leaving the CBN wheel with my spindle gouge, and it slipped out of my hand, dropped, hit the floor on the end of the handle, and lunged into my shin. So it laid quite a gash right on the shin bone. So, and it took quite a while to get the bleeding stopped. So hang on to the chisel. So
now wait, was the chisel sharp when you dropped it?
It was razor sharp. I just left the CBN wheel, and just a step away from the lathe, and I dropped it, and it hit on the bottom of the handle, and then lunged into my leg. You know,
rough.
I can hold my leg up, but the camera's just too high to get it up there. You know. But hold on to the tool.
Get a Band-Aid Club certificate.
Yeah,
Don should be in that. I gotta click it over and give Don a Band-Aid.
It's not a Band-Aid, it's a bandage. I had to put it should have had some stitches, but I did a butterfly on it and held it shut there, so I got it stopped. You know, so.
A little super glue.
Yeah, well, I didn't try that. You know, my brother-in-law was a medic in the Vietnam War, and that's when he used super glue a lot, when he patched up guys a lot. You know, so.
What's some of that 3408 on it?
Oh, I got a bunch of that. I didn't try that. You know, in fact,
that 3408 works really good, and it doesn't burn when you put it on.
Yeah, really. I was down to Mark Chalet's last week and spent an afternoon with him and brought a bunch of 3408 back with me and a bunch of other stuff he tried to get rid of. So.
Yeah,
he's got more junk. He's got more junk in that shop, but it's good stuff.
You spend some time with Mark, then you come back with a technique.
Oh yeah, yeah. Every time I go down about once a month, and he only lives about 20 minutes from me. But you go down there, and he's got to show you something every time you're there. You know, so.
It's awesome, not awful, awesome instructor. Yeah, really. Grumpy old pig, but he's a great instructor.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
All right, who's up, Dane?
Oh, we got a tip from Randy about chuck keys.
Randy, go for it.
Okay. I was always walking away from my drill press with the chuck key in my hand, laying it down, walking back to the drill press and saying, "Where's the key?" So what I did was I attached a small rare earth magnet through the chuck key. Whenever I take it out of the chuck, it goes in the same place on the drill press. And I do the same thing with the chuck keys for my lathe. This happens to be a metal lathe chuck key, so it's not one like we would use.
Good idea.
Rare earth magnets, stick them on the same place. You'll never lose the key.
Good
I have one epoxy to the side of my drill press, so I don't pull the magnet off. I just clink, and I'm shocked how well it holds.
All right, let's go back to our demonstrator tonight. Dean, what you got?
Okay, let's see.
Dean Martin
Got a
just
couple
checked
of
out.
got a couple of really big bowls here.
Wow.
Nice.
Nice optics.
Ron Radliff saw my box video, the one I just demonstrated, and sent me a message, said he makes tiny little bowls. I got to thinking about how can I make tiny little bowls and produce them without going through a whole bunch of trouble. And I sell a lot of 3 and 4 inch bowls at the craft shows, but basically this is off of a limb. Right like that. I turn the back side. In fact, I put up a video today. Turn the back side, part it off, turn the back side, part it off, slap the little bead in the chuck, hollow it out. I did 10 of them the other night, and I averaged about 3.5 minutes a piece. I mean,
What do you
it's
have
just
on for
quick.
finish?
It's just walnut oil.
Okay, thought so. That's nice.
Super quick, super easy.
And 1/16 of an inch or less.
Oh yeah, no, that's
2-3
that's
mil.
probably not quite a 1/16 of an inch.
That'll build your skills.
Everything you do, folks, it gives you just a little bit more experience and a few more skills.
Yeah.
Dean, you raised the bar for Cade. He's going to have to start turning his stuff thinner.
I'm not challenging Cade. No way.
If Cade gets any thinner, you'll be able to read the paper through it. Wait, you can do that now.
Good.
Thank you, Dean.
Yes,
sir.
Kim, back to you.
Howdy, y'all. Okay, so I've been working on polymer clay pens, and there's a couple of videos. If you search polymer clay pens, there's quite a few people who do polymer clay, but specifically pens, and I'm trying to learn polymer clay and all that good stuff. Anyways, I made, these are somewhat hard to see.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I can send it to me. I can look at it close up.
Yeah.
I need to send you
I'll
my
do that.
address too.
That is
So, I mean, some really cool. Now this cane I made from 2 different canes. They're scrap leftovers, and I just kind of combined them together. So even if you have leftovers from your polymer clay, they still make really cool patterns. So this one's a leftover from a cane I made. Matter of fact, it's a leftover from this one. I don't really care for this one, but it is what it is. It's one of those things where I'm just testing baking. I'm having a hard time getting them hard. Like, for some reason, they're still soft, and I'll bake them forever, longer than what's recommended. And I don't know if it's the polymer clay, so I'm trying to figure it out. This one I finished with CA glue. It's kind of hard to see because it's getting my board.
It's beautiful.
You said you get reaction with the CA?
Yeah, I was listening to a lady who does really cool canes that are phenomenal, and she said that Starbond is one of the brands you shouldn't use on polymer. Once I kind of get this down, because I feel like I'm literally just throwing stuff together and just trying. I have no idea what I'm doing right or wrong. Like my polymer clay wants to slide off the barrel. I'm noticing that I can only wet sand it. I can't dry sand it, otherwise it gets too hot. And I'm thinking it has acetone in it. Yes, that's why it has acetone in it. I remember her saying. Now this one was finished with Starbond CA glue, and it kind of worked out okay, but it's one of those you're just hoping for the best. A lot of them are like, let me get my camera. I don't know if you can see it, is chipping away. You can see the barrel underneath there. It's just crumbling off, and I'm getting like, I just had to say heck with pens. For one, pens are new for me, and then here it is, I'm trying a new technique for pens when I'm not even that great at turning pens in the first place. Figures. And then I have some camo I've been trying with polymer clay, and they're turning out pretty neat. This one, the first one I tried, I make 2 each, so in case I mess one up, I can try the next one. The first one just crumbled apart. It was really soft. This one I baked twice, and I can still put my fingernail print in it, and you're not supposed to be able to do that. So if anyone has messed with polymer clay in this group, and I know it's one of those things, if you can give me some ideas.
What brand clay are you using, Kim?
Now, I'm using a mix of brands. I bought an Arteza clay kit, which I like the texture of their clay better than I do Sculpey. I want to try the Primo, but it's pretty expensive. But anyways, it's Sculpey and a little mix of Arteza clay. I think this one's all Arteza clay. There's no Sculpey in it whatsoever. But I'm having the same issue with no matter if I use all Sculpey or Arteza brand as far as baking. I'm not sure if it's because it's so humid here. I mean, I think like with Dane, we're just drowning in rain. So I don't know. I'm getting very frustrated and want to walk away from it, but
Not yet, not yet. Don't leave yet.
I know. I also want to mention Doug makes a tool for getting Nova chucks off the lathe, and he may have it available to show you, but I bought one from him. He sells them in his Etsy store, and it fits perfect on the, and I think he has a video, I'm not sure, on how he makes them. So if that's something that Doug would be interested in showing, I'm giving him a shout out because I love his tool. I use it all the time to get my chuck off the lathe. So if you know, that's something that he can, some info that he can share with us.
That's what we do. We share. That's it.
That's
Thank
right.
you, Kim.
You're
Beautiful
welcome.
pens.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
pens.
I gotta go out.
And what that one you don't like, when the 60s come back, that'll be right in style.
Right.
That's great.
All right. Well, let's pan to Ontario and see what's shaking in Kate's shop.
All right. Hi, everyone. I have a couple of things I've been working on, and I have an oops, since everybody is confessing and showing some oops. So I'll start with my oops. So here we've been lifting some of the restrictions. So on Monday, I had a student, and I taught him sharpening and bowl turning. And just as I was taking my tenon off the bowl, something happened. So, but luckily we were all wearing our face shields. Practice what you preach, right? So we were all wearing our face shields. This is the bowl I was turning. And I was taking the tenon off the bottom. And it went a little thin. It started flexing on me. And then with added flex, you get more vibration. And then it just wobbled and flopped into the tool here as I was trying to go through just to a little pin. And then here, as it wobbled, my live center caught it here, giving me enough time to duck. And this half hit my face shield. The other half flew across his wood shop. But he learned from my mistakes and my coaching, so his bowl didn't end up this way. But sometimes it's good to, I wouldn't do this on purpose. I would go to the bandsaw and cut it in half, but then you can see how your wall thickness, how you match the outside profile to the inside profile. So this will now be a learning tool in my upcoming demos for my bowl turning when I talk about consistent wall thickness and matching the inside to the outside. So it wasn't a total failure. I did get a teaching tool out of it, and both myself and my student learned from it. It's like Kim said, don't get too complacent and too comfortable.
Exactly.
Constantly respect the machinery you're using because it can be dangerous. But yeah, that's my oops. So
Thank you. And you know, folks, if you turn something and you wonder what Kate's talking about there, if you saw the piece in half on your bandsaw, you'll be able to see the wall thickness around the whole piece. I didn't want to ask Dean to cut that Casey made in half, but if it had been a completed piece, running it through a bandsaw would show you the tenon, the mortise, the board, a counter bore, and all that. So make one, if you make it out of 2x4, cut it in half and save it, because it's going to teach you what to do and how not to do it.
yep, that's true. And I have a couple pieces here for show and tell. So first of all, I'll show my mace or my Morning Star. Here it is here. My ball and chain. This is a piece of cherry. The sphere was turned with the skew, and all the spikes were turned with the skew to match. But when I drilled the holes to hollow the inside of the ball, just to give it some weight, I filled it with buckshot. And I filled it with epoxy, and then I glued in all these spikes. The spikes were indexed and mapped out before. And here is the handle with a nice grip handle and a skull crusher pummel on the end.
Nice.
So it does work. It does flail around a bit. But unfortunately, in my little studio here, I don't have enough room to swing it around for you guys. But
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
so that's my Morning Star. The ball was cherry, and I ebonized it with a black lacquer. Yeah. And
Great.
the handle is ash. And another thing I did just before COVID hit, I was invited to a private school in Toronto because ever so often it was an all boys school, and they have a project, a woodworking project every year. So a few of the boys wanted to learn how to make baseball bats. So they hired me to come in and to teach the lathe portion of the class to these students who in the end made baseball bats. So at one point near the end, I talked about different ways that you can color and embellish and sort of beautify your bat. So this is a bat I made before we were finished the 2 classes. And this was all done, indexed, wood burned, and airbrushed to look like brick.
Nice.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's my brick baseball bat. I can't even remember how many hours I put into this. But it was a lot. And
That's
I mean,
awesome,
this
Kate.
baseball bat's maybe maybe 16 inches or so. No, 13 inches. So it's like a little billy or a tire checker.
I've always heard the term break bat. Now I've seen one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that was
Oh,
a fun
it's
little
not-
project. I did all
Hey.
the wood burning first, and then I airbrushed the red on after. And then the shine is tung oil, of course. Keep going until I can see myself and shave. And I have
Hey,
one
Kate?
more thing. Sorry.
Okay, that's known as a tire checker in the trucking business.
Yes, that's true. I was just going to make a reference to it. It could be a tire checker for the truckers or the bikers.
My friends in the UK call that a priest.
Yeah, the thumper or the priest.
Yes, yes. For use when you're fishing.
Or it's a dumb knot maker.
Yeah,
it's
attitude
good to
adjuster.
knock fish. It's good to knock some big fish over the head to keep them tearing your boat apart.
Yes.
Bring it.
That's what they make guns for.
No, no, it's
Not shooting in a
it's-
boat.
it's-
You blow a hole in your boat.
Fish and bring it in.
Put holes in the boat.
Sounds like a couple
I
of us
bow
have been
fish,
there.
so I'll end up with a whole barrel full of
Not-
carp, and about the top 10, if you smack them on the head, they're done. They're done.
Not from experience. I have not blown a hole in my boat.
I don't think you'd want to. It'd be a hard go getting back to shore or lifting it off the bottom of the lake or river or wherever you're boating.
Exactly.
You're
And
supposed to
last
shoot
but
the
not
fish.
least, sorry.
You shoot the fish outside of the boat, everybody, not inside. Come on.
Of course, of course.
Right. You learned that from experience, right?
My
Seconds
buddy
after you
shot an
needed it.
arrow out of a bow through the bottom of his boat.
Yes, 2 boats later.
Okay, enough boat stories. What else you have, Kate?
Oops. I have a couple more boxes. Here is one out of Grenadillo rosewood, and the finial is bloodwood. I don't
That's
know if I
beautiful.
showed this a couple weeks ago or not, but that was a demo I did for a club. But I did a
beautiful, Kate.
practice run today.
Very pretty.
And a video.
All right, Kate,
This is
Kate,
the one I'll
Kate,
be doing on the
Kate.
weekend.
Kate, I gotta mute you because somebody's got something on. So
Okay.
unmute yourself right after this, if you would.
There we are.
All right.
Yeah, so I did this one a few weeks ago. I've just started getting some finish on it, so it's starting to take a sheen. All spindle aspects turned with the skew. All hollowing was with the Ellsworth grind bowl gouge. The color with a parting tool. Yeah. And then today I did a practice run just for the demo on the weekend. And this is the style I'll be doing on the weekend. It will be out of exotic woods though. So the base will be exotic wood and the finial will be a color contrasting exotic wood. So this was my practice piece. And this is made out of poplar for the body. And the finial is black walnut, but it has a little bit of sapwood there. So it's almost like a pregnant belly on the finial there.
Nice. Now, folks, he said this weekend we will not, this is not a Worldwide Woodturners event this weekend. It's it's an event that Cade and 5 other turners are putting on, and the details are in our chat. Save the chat. All the information you need is right there, and don't miss it. Whatever you do, don't miss this demo.
Thanks, Eddie.
All right. And
Okay.
Dane, do we have anybody else up for gallery tonight?
Yes, we do. We have John Brooks up. John, go ahead and start talking.
John, if you're speaking, we can find you.
I'm here. It's
There we
Brooke.
go.
That's okay. So I like to make like large stuff. I have a big lathe. I make big bowls. I glued together some walnut, and I made a gigantic platter. I sent some of it to Kim a while back. But then I thought, I'd like to make something small, and I found something on YouTube, and I don't remember who it was on here, but I decided to try something small. It was a lot of fun. There's not a lot of mess with it. You can make little, it's got,
I like that.
It's got a couple captive rings on it.
Oh my goodness.
And it's got a
Yeah.
little
Very
cork in
nice.
here. In this little wine bottle.
With
He's
a-
got a cork.
Yeah, it's a cork on there.
What the heck will you use a cork for?
goodness.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
I mean, you can't get a lot of wine in there. Doesn't hold a lot of wine.
Okay.
Just the
Just
nip,
the
right?
overproof stuff.
And then you make a little platter for it and things like that. So what I enjoyed about it is that I have some little jeweler's glasses, and you can get down there real close with it. And it's just a lot of fun to make something small every once in a while.
Teach you how to use your tools, won't it?
I think so, yeah. And there's a guy in our club, Arizona Woodturners, that he's the secretary for the Ornamental Woodturners Club. His name is John Lee, and he's become a good friend of mine. But they make stuff real small, like Christmas ornaments, and he makes stuff. What's that machine where you make stuff on? They make
Ornamental lathe.
Rose engine.
yeah, rose machine. So every once in a while, it's fun to make the small stuff. And so I enjoyed that, and it's along the lines of Christmas ornaments. So if you're interested, give it a try.
Beautiful work. Appreciate it, John. Wow.
So you give me the idea of doing something like that, and then attaching that to a cheese cold cut board, the AKA charcuterie boards.
Yeah, you could do that. That would make, matter of fact, I just made a big charcuterie board. It's in the other room, but I'm for a gift for somebody, but it wasn't wood turning, so I didn't know if you'd want to look at it. Anyway, yeah, you could do that. That's a good point.
Yeah, definitely. I used to make little bitty bowls out of the leftover remnant from your pen blanks. So you got that 3/8 inch, 3/4 inch block, and I'd make little bowls out of it, and I'd give them to my daughter's friends for their dollhouses.
Nice, good idea. Hey, if you come to Phoenix and you go to the Railroad Park in Scottsdale, some guy has made I don't know what you call it, but it's like a miniature wood shop. And inside of that, he's got a lathe, and it's about this big. I don't know how he even did it, but it's in the train park in Scottsdale.
Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't been there.
Yep. Yeah, it's incredible.
I got to make a run to White Castles. Maybe I'll stop in there next time I'm up.
I got to get down to Tucson again. I haven't been down to Tucson in a while, so.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you're out, look me up.
I'll do it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going over to New Orleans, so maybe Captain Eddie will have time, that I could stop by his place. I'm going over there in October.
Hey, time. I mean, time. I got no time. My schedule's so busy. I can't fit anything in except talking to woodturners. If you come down, give me a call. My number's on my website. I do answer the phone. My boss makes me. Call me. If I'm above the grass, we'll meet. Okay?
I think you will be.
All right. Thank you, John. Appreciate the item tonight. Really nice. And folks, that's like an open invite. If you're in the area, you're coming out here, you want to visit, give me a call. We can visit. Don't promise to eat anything with you because boss won't let me eat it all today. All right, who else is up? We got about 10, 15 minutes to go before we wrap it up tonight. And we're showing gallery. I did hear Matt pop in. We'll see if he's got anything coming up. Brazen. Hey, Bray.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
All right, sir. What you got?
We're talking about these tire thumpers, and this is one that I turned must have been probably 20 years ago, and you can't see it, but this was a mistake. I turned it and then was messing with the laser engraver, and what it says is Army Strong, and it's got the Army logo on it. And I used to turn these for the recruiting command at Fort Knox. And here's a mahogany one. And what we would do is turn these things, and we would laser engrave Army Strong, put their name on it of the truck drivers that hauled these trucks that says Army Strong all over the country. And they would give these as awards for so many miles of driving and stuff. And I actually turned about 800 of these for the recruiting command of Fort Knox. Wow. And it was a great project. and it was a really big hit because they would take these home with them, and I promise you, every one of those drivers has got them today somewhere, sitting behind their seat or behind a door somewhere, in case somebody breaks in. But it was
All right.
it was a real good project.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. That was a good project. It really was nice. And if they held on to them, they held on for that reason. They'll convince you you've made a mistake bothering them. Matt Harbor said he's got in late this week. He's got nothing new from the shop, but he's with us. Matt is one of our, if you want to call it, regulars. He's in our co-host. He's one of our demonstrators. He's a member, just like you are right now, and he participates just like you can right now. So if you got something you want to share, ask, show, whatever, this is the place to do it, worldwidewoodturners.org. And we'll go back to Dane if he's got any more gallery tonight.
Well, I think we have an announcement from the Jersey Devil.
The Jersey Devil's got an announcement.
Yeah, I just want to bring up a few deaths that there were this week. Bill Grumbine, he was one of the real famous wood turners, did a lot of bowls and a lot of teaching around. And also Dick Gerald died this morning. I know he used to build a lot of tools and accessories for turning, and so it's very sad. Just want to bring it up. Thanks.
Yes, thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Terrible thing we have to face. One of the reasons I don't read the obits. Hate to see my friends disappear.
All right, Bob. How you doing,
Bob? Uh-oh. Thought we were safe, but he's back.
Hey, Bob.
Okay, well, we're talking about turning large things. I turned a COVID honey dipper. You can see by the size of my finger. When I was at John Campbell, they served the honey in the little square things, square packets. So I made a honey dipper for them.
That's about how much honey my health coach says I can have.
That's right.
Did that help make the honey last longer?
It did.
All right.
What else you turning, Bob? Got anything else tonight?
Well, that's all I got in here right now.
All right.
That was great, Bob.
Right on.
Bob
All right.
is referred to normally as our birdhouse man. He does some very impressive art dealing with that. Let's see what Mike's got tonight.
Hey, Mike.
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Yeah. We can
Anyway, I purchased my first Buckeye burl. I turned that one. That's because
nice grain. Nice. It's a burl, but nice.
Yeah, it turned out pretty good. It didn't have the gray in it, so I put a little black on it to kind of give it the classic look. But this is the one I spent a lot of time trying to get done. I ordered a new Phoenix pen kit, and I wanted to try some inlays. It didn't quite line up the way I wanted it to.
Still beautiful.
Did all right on that side. I had a learning experience, but I turned it end grained with Paduke just to give it kind of that red flame look. But I've got 3 other pens to turn, and I'm out of ideas now, so I don't want to do 3 red pens, but I don't know.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that one turned out pretty good. Assembling it, I noticed that it got a little crooked. So
Yeah.
I had a learning on that one. I think I need to square up the pen a little bit better. I didn't feel like taking it apart, but I'll try to fix that later. But
That's beautiful.
anyway.
Somebody
Very nice.
still love it.
That was my first attempt at veneers, and I was going to buy some prepackaged ones, so I made them up real quick, and I didn't have my measurements quite right, so I don't know.
Hey, it
Turned out
looks good.
Yeah.
So, hey, Mike,
Listen.
on that Buckeye, was that stabilized or unstabilized?
It wasn't. I was getting kind of, it was pretty punky, and I did lose kind of a big piece off of it, but I covered it up with a pin clip. I mean, for me, it was kind of a learning experience because I'd seen so many beautiful pieces of work with a Buckeye burl, and I went down to a beach, and they had a wood turner down there who was selling a bunch of them for pretty cheap, so I picked up like 6 of them and tried it.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. Can't tell.
Yeah,
Only you know.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you sharing with us tonight. Right, Dane, do we have anybody else? Got a few minutes to go.
No, not at the moment.
Oh, wait. I see Jim Shelby jumped in. Jim, start talking to us.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Keep going.
Okay.
There you are.
Oh, wow.
Those are
Oh,
some
get
little-
out your magnifying glass.
Yeah, those are some little skill builders I made.
Those are nice.
Did some miniatures.
Those are beautiful.
Yes, they are.
Thank
I love the little cross.
I want to play chess.
Do you do things with those, or do you just practice with them, or what's the deal?
I just cut them with the skew. My wife's got pictures in the hallway, and she puts them on top of the pictures just as dust collectors.
Okay, cool. Those are nice.
Very nice, Jim. Thank you for sharing tonight.
Thank you.
Doug, have you gotten your tool? Did you
Say
get your
again?
Yeah, Doug's tool for removing chucks off of the lathe. Doug, unmute yourself.
I am unmuted.
Okay.
Yeah, this one right here. This one. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Yes, that one. Show it.
Yeah, quit flicking it around, Doug, so we can see it better.
Well, if you
Tell
let
us
me on-
how you made it.
There you go. How did I make it? It's just a piece of flat stock. I bent it around with a torch. I actually clamped it to one of the blown out hubs off front axle of my truck, and it fits the same radius. And then you thread an Allen head screw into the end right here, and this sets where your hex screw for tightening your chuck, and it's just enough to get it loose. You know.
That leverage.
Yeah, I just have to, all I have to do is go dink right on that handle, and it's just enough.
You hook it in there, and then you just smack it, and it's just enough to break that loose. But I was making them, but I run out of oxygen, and everything's really expensive right now, so I haven't bought any more.
But it's a good idea for those who want to, attempt to make their own.
Definitely. Thanks, Doug. All right, let's go to Ocean Springs. Trey.
Trey, you with us, but we don't hear you,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, I've unmuted myself. I got a couple small things I've turned. Here's a little vase. It's out of Blackwood.
That'd be called a mini weed pot?
Yep. And the next thing I turned, something similar to this. This is a little burial urn for cockroaches. and it has a chase 1/4-inch thread chase top on it. It's a threaded lid.
Can I make a bigger one? We got bigger roaches than that in Louisiana.
Well, this is for cremation. You got to
Oh.
cremate them first. And then a couple others. Here's a platter.
I like that.
Oh, nice. That's
What's
cool.
the finish?
And the it's black, and then it's been painted and everything. And the bottom of it's got a little rings on it and spiral carving on that. Another platter, and I don't know whether you can see the details on it. It's carved.
See, if you serve sushi on that, for me, I would actually be able to eat it because it would.
And the final item, I went ahead and had to mount this one because they were all so small. I put a little end of a test tube on. These are goblets.
Nice.
And the smallest one has 2 loose rings on it.
Wow.
Wow.
That's small. That's
So yeah,
amazing.
this one has two free loose rings on it.
Wow.
So you had too much time on your hands, huh?
Well, there's an advantage to small things. It doesn't take long to turn them. If you mess it up, you haven't used much wood. So
No, drop it on the floor, you never know what went there.
that's true.
Builder.
Well, two
Well,
things
that's-
I know
those
about
are
Trey
great
now.
guys.
more
drop 'em in
patience
the
and
chat
better
box.
eyesight than I do.
And I
Excuse
turn
me,
this on
back on the
24-inch
concept?
one way, so it doesn't, you can turn small stuff on a big lathe.
You can. All right, thank you. Boy,
I love them.
Wow.
We've
very
got,
nice.
we've got a little bit of work that's shown out here, a little bit of what got in one. But we've seen some great things. If you've got something to share with us, this is a place to do it. Otherwise, we're back every Wednesday evening. We start at 6 o'clock Central Daylight Time, or Central Time, pardon me. And we wrap up at exactly 9 o'clock. And we are worldwide. We've had visitors from 3 continents tonight. And that's what we do, is share information on wood turning. No limits, no restrictions, no dues. And everything that you see here tonight is going to be on what is probably the world's finest wood turning website, worldwidewoodturners.org. That's what screen says right there. That's where you find how to link on to us, how to get there. If you want to see excerpts of demonstrations from tonight, tips, hints, tricks, it's all there. Just for Kim, we gotta go back to this. I saw it just now.
Thank you.
We just lost Kim again.
There he is. Oh.
Night,
He is
everybody.
awesome, Cade.
He doesn't have a skew in his hand. What's the matter?
I know, not yet. Well, I'm not allowed yet.
Oh.
You mean they got rules in your house?
Hi, handsome.
Just a few,
Oh. Kiss them all over for me.
right?
That's Cash Folger. He's our youngest member. And he's got a head shield. He's got a head guard and everything. Boy, he is some good looking. Thank you for sharing your family with us tonight.
Absolutely.
All right, we got a couple more up for show here. Let's go to Don.
Let's get it quick, please. Hi, Don.
Good afternoon. I've got a couple of small pieces here I've done. I mounted them on a bowl.
That's pretty. I almost said cute. No, that's pretty.
Beautiful.
Those are nice.
Nice.
Very pretty.
Really cool.
Not much room for error in turning something like that either.
I gotta ask, are those rings segmented?
That's just burnt pieces of just a burnt wire.
If it was segmented, we'd send some people your way to give you some help.
Yeah.
There was a little cup there too.
Nice.
All right. Thank you. And then one more item to show by the birdhouse man, Bob.
I thought Bob said he didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Bob, what's up?
Well, this isn't a small piece, but I wanted you to see the grain in this, if you can see it. Got some really pretty grain in it.
Yeah. What
It's
is
about
that?
a 12-inch piece of walnut and the textured rim. But the grain I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it's got some good
Can y'all
Very
see
nice.
that?
I got my eyes
Yes.
fixed on the texturing. That is a
It's
fine
almost
piece
like
of work.
flaming. It's almost like
Yeah.
flames in there, isn't it?
Textured the side, but I really like that grain in it.
Yeah.
That's
I
beautiful.
can't take credit for it, but I like it.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Work.
All
Looks
right.
like it's from the part of a tree where it crotches out into branches, because it's got all that flame and curl and swirl in it. It's very nice.
Good way to capture it.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Beautiful. And if novice turners, if you see the detail work around the perimeter of the piece, the edge and the band, that was done with the texturing tool. And we will get somebody else once again to show you a texturing tool. But I had a question earlier tonight, and I didn't write down who it came from, but somebody said, can we show the use of a McNaughton? A McNaughton is a coring tool, not a hollowing tool, a coring tool for removing cores from a turning piece. So instead of putting all those shavings on the ground to take the middle out of the 12-inch bowl, maybe you take 2 other bowls out before you get there. I'm looking for that. That's a McNaughton or one way or And we're still working towards getting wig stands for people who have a need for them. We're still collecting Freedom Pens. We're still looking for demos. And our challenge for Thanksgiving, and we got to early start on it, are bottle stoppers. Now, I'd really like to start seeing some bottle stoppers real soon, considering you can show bottle stoppers made out of 2x4, and you can be part of the Bottle Stopper Brigade and the 2x4 Club all in one shot. Bob Moffett says he could do a demo texturing sometime. Dane, write that down, Dane.
I already got it.
All right. See, Dane, we're sneaky around here. If you say I'd like to do this, it's too late. We have it on tape. And we don't even have the tape, but we're saving it. We're always looking for demonstrators, and the demonstrations come from you folks. All right, it's coming up on 9 o'clock. We're going to call it a night, and we'll be back here again next week. And if you've got something, put it on the chat. If you got a question, put it in the chat. Otherwise, my phone number's on the website. I'd love to talk to you about wood turning any time of the day or night. Give me a call. We'll get to it. All right. With that, folks, I want to tell you good night, John Boy, and hope each and every one of you have a great weekend. Oh, wait, before we go, I told Ronnie I'd show this one more time. I do this just for Ronnie. Because he said the glare kills him. So, you know.
Oh,
I'll tell you what,
no.
that'll give you nightmares.
Yes, you and Doug.
We know.
Oh, wait. I don't want to be so soon, Doug.
Oh my gosh.
I think you look cute.
You're gonna make Doug jealous.
Yeah. I'm running for the. I'm going to get the glasses like Kim's got, you know. Big, and I can run with the big dogs. All right, folks. With that, we're out of here. See you next week. Be good.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Y'all
Y'all have a great week.
Your new nickname's going to be Rosy Cheeks.
Rosie.
Sounds like
Right.
Doug
Put a
belongs on
certificate for that, Dane.
Sounds like Doug Polbarn belongs on Brenda's Band-Aid Brigade.
Yeah.